Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world. Sean Driver, the Red Horde. Brendan here with us with some new little tricks and stuff like that. We're here for the Burton Albion away match. The weather, although not good, seems to be quality enough to get this one off. And did anybody else have the early morning wake up wondering if they'd hopped into a DeLorean and gone backwards when they looked at the score sheet? My routine, by the way, is I wake up in the morning, I kind of get my coffee ready. An hour before game time, I log on to X or to Blue Sky to find out what the roster is that's being announced. And I look at this one and I see Foster and the subs, and I'm like, what? What happened? And then I see a B Foster, and I'm going, who's what? And so anyway, Brad Foster signed as a goalkeeper to fill in. I'm going to have to look that one up, but it threw me off. Brendan, I'm going to throw it to you, see how you are doing and what maybe what your morning routine is, since everybody piles in on this one. Well, I go and try to connect to the chat, which I didn't do before.
Sure. No, I'll say hi. It looks like we got Sam in. I'm guessing Sam is one of our many Red Horde members from Australia. He's up deep into the night to join us to watch the game. Of course, Dave Foster and G-Zone are here. Kim, I saw chiming in earlier. I'm going to end up going at in a few minutes to some pics sent in to people that connected to Discord. Welsh Techie is at the game, sent a great pic, and said that he saw Ben Foster, Brad Foster warming up. So yeah, how you doing now, Sean?
I'm good, except I'm wondering if I got everything muted on my end, and all of a sudden I hear this blurb in the background. Oh, I know what it is. I'm getting it from my phone down here. Yeah, I wanted to. So the routine's all set up, and anyways, where were we with this one? The one's biggest surprise while we're sitting here chatting, and Dave Foster with the early comments says, Dave Foster, wrong initial, LOL.
Yeah.
But can he get a start? Yeah, he needs to be a B Foster. Do you have a brother or a sister? Will comes in, jumps in, throws in the quick little the spoiler. Oh, this is a 2-1 finish, he says. I had this one as a 1-0. I don't know. I think we're comfortable with the clean sheets. I don't know if you watch the Who Are You. For anybody who doesn't, I do that Who Are You series where I look at the teams that we play, have a look at the stats. And it's been a trend recently where I look at them and I basically go, does this fit with what the standings say? Exeter City, they were too high based on what their stats said. Lincoln City, a little bit too high, but not far off. When we played Barnsley, I was like, okay, these guys are solid. This is top of the tables type stuff. But Burton Albion, not bad statistically. I can't really sit there and critique the tar out of them. They were decent. So I don't know if you had a look at it, but I'm not as set on this one being something, some 3-0, 2-0, 4-0 blowout comfortable win. I think these guys are in the mix. The biggest shock to me was who they've got up front, and we'll get into that. Did you have a look at what your thoughts were on Burton Albion at home? Score prediction?
I didn't look deeply enough into their statistics. Obviously, I saw where they were in the table, and the only thing I'd say is that this is Wrexham, right? So for every team, even if you're having a crappy year and you know you're going to go down, this can be your moment, right? This can be when we showed Wrexham, like we're going to get on the documentary and make a name for ourselves, right? So this is their equivalent to a Super Bowl or whatever sometimes. So I think teams get up for Wrexham, which means even if they're low in the table, you have to worry that they'll give you their best game all of a sudden. So, yeah, I mean, you'd think based on their standings and everything, and we're starting to finally slowly click again, that we could be beating them 3-0. But yeah, I hear you. This could be a much closer game.
The change of management always is something that ends up being a spark too, right? They went and hired their previous manager who goes 7 games without a win in all competitions. They end up trouncing them. They bring in their sub, their intern coach. They're expected, at least the ownership announced, which I find odd for ownership to announce publicly that they expect to make him the head coach. Like, either make him, you're the people who are in control of it. Make them the head coach or not. And to go to the media makes me go like, are you having to sell this guy on it? Like, what? We've trapped you. I don't get that. There was a comment as to how the weather was. All reports is that it's not pleasant.
It's very windy there. I just thrown the feed up on the screen, and you can see the jerseys, being affected by the wind. So,
yeah. So, but by all accounts, it's expected to get off. I did read a tweet before I went to bed that said that there was going to be an 8 a.m. inspection followed by an 11 a.m. inspection before the buses took off from Wrexham, which I always thought was is important, and well done for Burton for not being jerks about it. Why don't we bring up the starting 11 and we can have a look at it?
It's up.
It's up. All right. So the keepers, Mark Howard and then Brad Foster. He also of West Albion, Bromwich. He was there with Mo Fall for a period of time. They signed together actually for an extended career. He basically is one of those goalkeepers who aged out of the academy sort of thing, didn't get re-signed. They get to that 23, 24 and they're like, we're not there. You're not there. We're not going to keep you. And then didn't land anywhere. So that, to me, just you look at based on team club he was at, circumstances, a very capable young goalkeeper, but maybe a little bit of a step down from Arthur Okonkwo, who's been stuck in the mud trying to find a new home after being let go. So maybe he gets an opportunity to strut his stuff for a little bit and show off, and at least he's with club, and I hope it's positive for him in any event. Back line, Brunt, Cleworth, and O'Connell. O'Connell getting the armband in the absence of James MacLean and in the absence of Paul Mullen, who at least starting, Mullen on the bench. On the wing, you got to go with Barnett. There's really no surprises with this one. We had two people that we needed to sub out. Dobson because of suspension and MacLean because of suspension. And who do we get? Well, you bring Revan in and you bring who came in? Cannon for Rathbone or for Dobson, and that answers the question. So I expect Matty James to be playing in the spot he's traditionally been prior to that Dobson. I expect Cannon to be on the right-hand side and Rathbone on the left, especially because we know he's got a bullet in his left foot too. So as to the subs, Mendy as the sub, that has been a while since we've seen his name into a lineup card, but other than that, I think what you'd expect, Scar and O'Connor on the back line, Mullen, Fall, and Fletcher up front. And we will see what happens. Thoughts for you, Brandon, on the starting 11?
I think this was one of the ones that we talked about. I think this was the one that we thought was most likely. The substitution of Cannon in and Seb Revan were standard substitutions that you'd expect. I was hoping for maybe they move away from Lee Palmer. And this would be where you'd felt confident enough to give Mullen his shot back in full time. And I had seen highlights of Bodvarsson doing exceptionally well in practice all week long.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I don't know, maybe Parky does something a little out of his norm and threw those two in to start and told Lee and Palmer, I'm just going to give you a rest or put you on the bench and have you come in if necessary. I was hoping that he felt so confident we would be beating Burton Albion that he would be able to make those subs and try to get those guys going. But no, he didn't. He's sticking with the Lee Palmer, and hopefully we do get rolling early and then he brings them in and then they just pile on. So.
Yeah. It's the whole Brad Foster situation, you flagged it earlier, and I think it's worth talking to before we go and look at the Burton Albion starting 11. The whole emergency backup goalkeeper situation, which I should dive into the regulations, have a look. I was surprised that we could sign a goalkeeper because, as I understood it, we had and somebody in the comments might be able to pitch in and tell me where to go to pull the regs. I was under the impression that because we had a professionally qualified goalkeeper, which was somebody who had played more than 5 starts in the last X number of years, and that Chomp had qualified, and Techie has joined us. It's possible the wind is enough. There we go. Will wind give us a chance at a keeper's goal if it's possible? The wind is enough. It might be a keeper own goal if a big enough gust hits. Yikes. I thought that because we had Chomp, that we were, and our roster was full after doing the Matty James, Bud Varnson thing, that we couldn't add anybody else as an emergency backup. It was going to have to be Liam Hall. But instead we went and got cover, and I'm not sure how that worked with the list, unless and it can't be an age thing because he's now 23, 24 is Brad Foster. So I don't know exactly how that signing all took place, but I'll have to look. I guess it doesn't matter. It happened, and so it's not going to happen without it being legitimate. I just thought we're going to see Liam Hall on the back for the next 2 to 4 weeks, which is what I thought was the turnaround time that we were going to get potentially for Ogonko. I haven't heard about Burton, but we'll look at that up. If anybody knows in the chat, feel free to throw that one in there. I'm curious as to what happens. Look, the starting 11 for them is curious, and yes, you get changeover when you get new management. But there's a theme here. He's gone young. The new manager has. Look for Straha, number 20. Look for Gilligan, number 25. Both of them being 22 years of age. But the biggest one is, and I featured him in the Who Are You thing, is, and I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, Rumarm Burrell. Rumarm Burrell. Say that 2 times, 3 times, 5 times really fast. Rumarm Burrell. Anyways, they've got Danilo Orsi, 6 goals, 2 assists. He's been in 50% of Burton Albion's scoring, either one way or the other, either by scoring it or assisting it. And he's been jumped on the depth charts by Burrell, who has 2 consecutive starts in a row and didn't look good statistically in the last one. So there must be some training pitch magic, or there must be a change in intention as far as going youth first. But there have been changes. Max Crocom's still the keeper. Ryan Sweeney, Elliot Watt still up. Orsi out, and they've decided to go without. Is it one of their defenders? Is it Jack Armour? And I don't know if he's injured because Armour's not even on the bench. So that may be a forced change to them. But they've made a couple of changes as far as Armour out and Malife out. And so whether by – oh, no, Godwin Malife is in. Sorry, I missed that component of it. But they've made some changes. So those are the ones to watch. 20, 25, and 18 being the young subs who have come in for established players. One of them defensively, that being, I believe it was Straha, was the defender. It'll be fascinating. Anyways, the E-bug. I didn't talk about that. In the NHL and hockey, if you're familiar with this term, emergency backup goalkeeper, and when talking about Brad Foster, I thought maybe this might be the opportunity. If there is a match that happens, what they do in the National Hockey League is if they have 2 consecutive players or 2 consecutive goalkeepers injured in the same game, rather than have an outfield player come in, and maybe because in hockey it's more of a specialized role than it is in football, like you're still on your feet, and I guess people can do it, and many of them have probably done it when they were young. In hockey, if you're a keeper, once you're like 10 years of age, you're a keeper. You don't do anything else, and it's different edge work, and it's on skates, and it's what they do is they have a player show up at every arena in the NHL. They give him tickets, they give him seats. Sometimes he brings his gear in, and they sit and watch the game. And if both keepers get hurt, they bring them in. And this whole Brad Foster thing made me think of that. The most famous E-bug, Toronto Maple Leafs, the Carolina Hurricanes lose both of their keepers to injury. They have to go to their emergency backup goalkeeper, which was the Toronto Maple Leafs Zamboni driver. That's the machine that goes and cleans the ice. He was a senior hockey goalkeeper. He played in the Allen Cup, although not well. And he was the training keeper for the academy squad, I guess it would be the equivalent, the Toronto Marlies. But he came in and had himself 10, 11, 12 minutes of absolute glory, and was called upon to make like 10 saves in the win. And all the glory to him. It was one of the most infamous moments in sport in Canada anyway, watching in North America, watching an E-bug fill in. So I was wondering, Is that something that they need to bring in football? I guess not, as I was talking my way through it. But what's your thoughts on the Brad Foster situation? Liam Hall, if you're 19 years of age and you're fourth in the depth chart, you get a chance up where you're thinking, hey, I might be able to hit a scorecard here with the starting 11 and sit on the bench, and then all of a sudden you get jumped over. Are you concerned, or is that life as a goalkeeper at 19? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know enough about that. I can tell you this. I've seen in other sports where a long time ago, the Boston Red Sox had an incredible closer, a rookie. He was tearing it up in the minors. A few regular season games, he tore it up. They brought him up late. When he got into when the Red Sox got into the playoffs, they brought him into close games, and the pressure in the playoffs was way too much. The guy folded. It crushed his psyche because he lost those games. He couldn't get back in the right mindset and be successful. And I wonder if that's what their fear is. I don't know how much that happened in football, where you bring a guy in too early, he gets crushed. Like all the pressure of this being Wrexham, all the eyes on it, cameras. We're in the chase for the playoff, promotion. Maybe that's just too much to put on a 19-year-old, because if he does make a mistake, will he recover? So
fair enough.
I can get that. Also, if he's just a tenacious fighter of a person, you expect to put him in and he rises to the occasion and he just locks everything down, and then he just has a great career from there. I could see it going either way, but I mean, yeah, they did the safe thing.
Yeah, no, I get it. To Matt Al's question there, you got the match stream up, guys. I'm looking at it here. I don't know if there's a query that comes with a follow up from that, but yes, if you're in the US, you can get it on Paramount Plus. If you're in the rest of the world, you're watching it on iFollow. I will identify here, Dave just saying that for those of you in the United States, Walmart offers a free month trial of Walmart Plus, which includes Paramount Plus. And the streaming app to watch Wrexham play, so you get live and replay. Which now, if you were to buy a month package, if you hadn't before through iFollow, now's a good month to do it, because they're going to be playing extra games Tuesday, Saturday, and Boxing Day, and the 29th, and New Year's, and all that sort of stuff. So if you were to grab your month now, would be a good one to grab. But also, if you're in the US and you wanted to try Paramount Plus, Walmart Plus's free month might be this might be the month to do it.
Did you see
full load? Go ahead.
Dave Foster jumped in and talked, because we were looking to see and get feedback from anybody who went to the LA or Dallas big screen premiere. And he gave a great breakdown of, like, there's different tiers, and the tiers are how close you are to the screen. And surprisingly, like, McElhaney, instead of being in the back, was in the front, like almost on top of the screen. And I've been in situations like that where you've been in those theaters where the screen's that big. You get in so close, you have to turn your head to extremes to see stuff, and it makes the game very like it's work. And Dave was pointing out that someone was saying that the tier 1, that they were complaining it's just way too close to experience the game properly. Thanks, Dave.
And I would assume it'd be like when you go to the movie theater, where do you pick your optimal seats? Nobody ever goes and sits in the front row.
No one sits in the front row, right?
So that makes sense to me. But yeah, no, kudos to Dave for throwing that one out there. We are 11 minutes away from the kickoff here. You've got a whole bunch of features that are in the background. I'm going to take the opportunity while I have it, and I don't know, in my mess of everything that's still going around here, whether I have a pin somewhere handy. I believe I had one in the drawer.
I put it up on Discord too. I'll flash it on the screen. Give me a second here.
I don't know what we're flashing on the screen.
The screen is some of the commands. Yeah, so some of them are a little more obtrusive than others. So after you've seen them for the first time, maybe you don't trigger them too much. But yeah,
if you weren't here last week, or Tuesday, I guess it was, we're trialing a new thing where in the background we've got some audio, some video that plays, and there's exclamation marks followed by a word that if you use in the chat will go behind and play, and there will be music and singing, chants that were recorded at the race course, and or videos that were made that will play just to add a little bit more ambiance. They will time out, so we, don't spam the chat, and it can't really handle it. It won't play anything if you spam it. But every once in a while, if you feel that it's a moment to do things, use the list, hit the exclamation mark, and play it. I'll only know it triggers because I get the feedback from Brandon's mic that ends up playing. But that's the only way that I end up knowing. Cosm Standing Room was a popular option. That was $11. See, that would probably be the one that I would want. Is because Standing Room, I think it's not full enough. You kind of walk around in the back and soak it all in and do that sort of stuff. I would probably go for that. Bets are in favor of Albion at the moment, 4-1. And good morning, Giselle and Denise, showing us the sponsor. Just wanted to throw that one out really, really quick. I almost said the Red Horde, looking at the pin. I'm a little groggy to start things off. Ultimate Promotions, ultipromo.com, ultimatepromotions.biz. They make pins just like this one. That one being the pressed variety. You can get the soft enamel, the hard enamel, whether it's sport trading, whether it's for work and you do that. 48 years of service over at Ultimate Promotions, free artwork and free shipping with your stuff. You can also get those medals, those custom ones that you see built for like running competitions and those sorts of things. Or at least that's what we get in Canada, where you climb up a mountain and then you throw axes at a thing and toboggan down a hill in a little wagon and then climb a rope and you get a thing for completing the race. So they have those sorts of things. Go and grab those if you need them. Check them out. Free shipping, free artwork. Well worth the news. Turf fan zone has been destroyed by the wind. Oh no, tent is down and bent. Will not be open today. Just received photos from Wayne and Shirley. Yikes. I wonder if that one's out on X and somebody can grab that and send that one over through the Discord. That'd be helpful.
Thanks for the update.
But yeah, hopefully Wayne and Shelley not too impacted from that one. But that's the big message of what we're dealing with right now is you look around the league and W&G, we anticipate going to be here giving us the updates. Pins! Thanks, Ultimate Promotions. Now's the time to make hay.
There were 2 early games today.
Oh, yeah, there were 2. And I looked at them and I was like, do I want to wake up and do an early game this weekend? And then I was like, not really.
Yeah.
And so I didn't. Let's just go to the League One matches here quickly and have a look at what we're dealing with.
Yeah, Blackpool.
And a postponement. Crawley and Stevenage not getting off, so that's fine. Leighton Orient over in Wigan. All right. Charlton drew Lincoln City. I mean, that's dropping of points for teams that are trying to get back up into it, as you will. Do you think that the divide is getting stronger and stronger as between like 2 separate sort of groups that are happening now here? You've got 3 in the top.
Yeah.
And then up from Huddersfield down, you've got, and I'd say down to maybe Bolton.
Yeah, like I said to ourselves and at least Birmingham have what I would consider somewhat easier schedules. So Huddersfield, Birmingham, Wycombe's schedule's not that bad. There's only like 2 games that may give them a little bit. So like the people that are currently at the top, should do well if they stay somewhat in form, and it should have a decent enough separation. It should get, I don't know what you'd call a good separation, but when you're talking 10 points, I think that's when it starts when you start going, there's a break. And I think in a couple of weeks, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a pack of 4 to 5. With a good 10 points ahead.
It's and then Reading doing Reading things.
Yeah,
like we talked about. Are they a thing? They're so hot and cold. What do you expect we're going to get from Reading? And last week, and we kind of with them said we don't expect them to be. They'll be in and about and there, but I don't think we agree. Or I think we agreed we don't think they're going to make it. But they've been doing relatively well of late, and so what happens is they lose their whole management staff who jump up and go to Hull City. So I sent you photos on Messenger. All right, I will try and pull those ones off.
Yeah, if you send them to Sean, then Sean's got to find a way to send them to me.
Yeah, Discord, and I've put the link up there in the top. I'll add it one more time. It should be in the pinned message if you can see it. I'll just put it here, and it might be easiest to do it that way. Simple, and I say that simply because I have my broadcast through my phone on the big screen TV, and so I have to then move around and try and find it, and so it makes it a bit of a challenge. So in the pinned comment there is the Discord, and of course it's not working as smoothly, but try that if you wouldn't mind, just because I'm not going to be able to get it this way, but I appreciate that. And Will gets caught by the streamer bot. Sorry about that. Swoosh, you'd have to think. I don't know what Parky's got with West Brom or with Burton Albion. You mean? Oh no. That's we have strong ties with the current Burton Albion GM. She being the GM that we had for the last 2 years. Fleur jumped over, went back home. Ben, her dad, stepped down, and so she jumped over. She was always sort of the heir apparent for the Brewers, who somebody criticized and said the worst logo in football. Which if you're going to have that chubby B guy, you need to have him holding a pint, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's a step too far. But with I thought you were saying West Brom and it was Burton Albion. No, so yeah, Fleur Robinson with them, and Ben Robinson steps down. They bring in another Robinson to manage. He doesn't perform well, and I don't think he was related. And then they can him back in October, and they bring in the current, and he's been doing his thing. As far as watching around scoreboard, so we're all Reading fans, which is why I was talking about them, and we are all Barnsley fans. I think even though Barnsley's sitting at 8 points, or eighth place with 27 points, we'd be happy with them taking 3, moving up to 30 if that meant holding Birmingham back a little bit. And then other than that, who else do we have? Huddersfield, who's chasing, is playing Mansfield Town. So that's 2 teams, 4 and 10 that are in the mix. Stockport sitting in 5th. They're going to have Exeter City. And so that's 5 and 11. So you've got teams playing each other today, right? You've got 1 versus 6. You've got 3 versus, and I just said it, 3 versus 8. You've got 5 versus 11. It's going to be a day. Bolton may be the only one you got to go all the way down to 7th to have a game where they're not playing somebody who's near the top. Vamos, Gablok in Honduras. Welcome. And so we'll see how this one goes. I just think when you end up getting the changeover and you end up getting the guy who's playing more youth, you really don't know what you're going to get. I don't think that they played exceptionally well in the last one, but they've been better as of late. And therefore,
nice.
Their stats ain't bad. Who had their mask on?
Oh, no. Giselle's like, is that Burton's mascot? She was laughing at the yellow, apparently drunk-looking guy waving a flag.
Looks like a brewer to me. They should be marketing the heck out of that. Come up with a whole bunch of crap breweries, set them all up in the same area. You can go to Burton, grab a hotel room on the side of it, and just walk around and get yourself oblivious to the world through overconsumption. I'm not recommending overconsumption, but you can elect to do that, and have Clamato juice on the side. But yeah, the mascot's toupee blows off. So this one's going to be fascinating because even though you think you know what you're going to get with Hounzel, Tom from Fulham doing his thing, who knows what you're going to get. Going with the 4-3-2-1 says Fought Mob. Us with the 3-5-1-1 with Lee going. And Burrell sitting up at the front and not Orsi is clearly fascinating to me. If those of you who know, I mean, Orsi did well with Crawley, 19 goals last year. And they've gone with the 23-year-old young guy. My Spanish, I ain't got any Spanish. If it sounded anywhere close to sounding like Spanish, that's that'd be crazy to me. This is fluent as Parky's F-less English. Wow. I guess maybe not a compliment is as fluent as Parky's less English. So not very fluent, a little bit off-putting. Maybe I got close, having some fun with it. What do we expect? I don't know. Brandon, do you have a score prediction before you jump off? Did I hear it? Did I miss it?
No, my prediction 2-1.
2-1 us. The clean sheet run ending. Anybody else in the comments feel free to throw us your thoughts as we're getting ready. Wrexham in their black, and I guess we can't wear the gold if they're wearing the yellow and black. That'd be a little bit too much.
Yeah,
and then the
I thought
referee,
with a black shirt.
The referee too, and kudos to, there was a comment that came in. I forget who it came from in the Who Are You, talking about the fact that the referee has had a number of opportunities in League One running the lines and has been moving up, but really this is only a second game in League One and we're underway. Wrexham from right to left on your computer screens. Burton Albion in their yellow and blacks, Bumblebees, Brewers, whatever they are, from left to right. And it's just, oh man, hoofball is going to be tough. Did you see that ball hold up already? Just flicked it up into the air and everybody had to stop. So I'm going to have to be attentive to what the wind is doing, blustery, and potentially look to build up through the middle because this is going to be tough. So the wind clearly coming against us for the first half. So let's.
If there was anyone who I'd want kicking, the guy that has the best chance is our guy that's our most accurate keeper kicker. And that would be Howard here. Look at that. He's able to keep it low with spin and still put it right on point. He's amazing with that.
Well, we might have to give him a free pass as well. And there you go. Bullets being delivered up and served, right? So,
yeah.
That was, Dave, actually a thought that I had when I saw Kia Burton. They got a local car dealer sponsor on theirs, and we have United. I mean, it goes to the whole turnover thing, right? 5-6 million quid, and it's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Holy, there is a difference in the wind, eh?
Yeah, it's
like
I could usually see a curve, a big looping thing get past a keeper by it hooking in or picking up speed. Or
if you're not watching, the keeper for Burton Albion just served up Crocombe, just showing off. Maybe he bounced it. Out of the entire stadium. It literally hit inside the box for Chomp and went out. So Chomp going to have a chance on goal in the second half. So that's exciting.
Yeah, but Chomp's kicking into the wind and he's still getting it where he wants.
And he's doing the low bullets but I guess it's easy. Just swing as hard as you can. It's going to die down 3/4 of the way through. And there's John saying, with the weather and our lack of footwork strikers, I'm a little bit more nervous as I normally would be for a bottom of table team. This could be a 0-0, 1-1 draw, right? It could be just an ugly, scrappy. I think as an away game, this is one of those ones where you're just going to scrap and claw, and it's not going to be beautiful and pretty, but like get one early. If there was ever a game to get one early and have somebody chase the game, it's this one, especially when we have the wind with us for the second half. So Barney with it, playing it back to Cleworth, all on the deck. And I'm curious to see what the possession stats look like as Brunt presses on. Burrell all the way up and over, forces EOC to get it over. Did somebody trigger a Wrexham, or was that you doing it in the background?
It was not me. Dave Foster
firing that one up.
Chance going, getting Wrexham fired up.
Lost control, gained it back. Matty James laying it up for Lewis Brunt to run up on the left-hand side, plays it up to Seb Revan. Is he going to get him back? No, Brunt continued the run, but didn't get it back from Seb, and it's over to Rathbone, who's going to recycle and do it that just a bit outside. Dave Foster with the baseball references. Palmer, opportunity to win it back. He's got an opportunity. Did the window blow? Whistle blow. Hit him in the thigh. Thought it hit him in the hand. Nervous referee. See, I expect those calls wherever there's
just raise a hand because they want a call and the referee buys it. I don't know.
Yeah, the appeal. I mean, I don't know. Well, you've got the hands here to protect your face and it hits your hands. I can see why that would end up being called down for a handball. Man, goalkeeper kicks it all the way out again. Maybe the hardest half for Chomp getting the balls in is going to be the second half because he's going to have to just sort of tap it. It's going to be bringing out the sand wedge and just kind of laying it up there.
Yeah, by the way, we have the January transfer window countdown ticker up there. It was requested. Do you remember who asked you to put that in the mix? There was a feature that someone wanted.
I can't remember who it was. It was two.
Andy or
it was
somebody?
two who are used away that somebody asked for it, and I said I think there's a way to do it. And of course, I don't do it. I just give it to Brendan, and Brendan's amazing and somehow gets stuff done and up. So mass appreciation. And yes, joining the Discord. The links up in the pinned comments should be down below in the description. And so feel free to join there. That way you can share the pictures as to how you're watching and soaking this all in. I'm always curious of people's setups.
Tracy with the 3-0. I like the bold, dominating prediction.
3-0. I just think with the weather, it does make me nervous. And their attendance, I'm sitting there looking at it. Their stadium holds just over 6,000 people. They've been averaging just below 3,000, so it's been half full. It doesn't look like they've had an issue filling the barn for this one. And is that a different one that you played, or did another one get triggered? I just never know.
G-Zone triggered this one, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. So there's a whole list, and if you're on the Discord, you can find it. Have a look at it. Take the list. Feel free to split it around. And we're going to probably look to try and get different specialized events for things that happen in the stream and all that sort of stuff going as we go for it. Howard, probably the best bet for goal. Don't want to get caught out if you're the keeper playing against the wind, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen and what could come to you from sort of anywhere coming up to the 6-minute mark. 5 minutes and 55 seconds. Mark it now. And there's another out for a throw. Scrappy. And so far, Crocombe, he's gone too long and one out to the right. Turnover. So hard for Burton to get anything going, but we haven't taken advantage of it either. Don't have to apologize for anything, David.
A little back and forth here.
And there's Dave saying, Brandon, the whole screen is great. The logo, the transfer timer, the promo banner, the score time. I see your efforts. Awesome. And yeah, we're not pulling out the lucky hat until far later. I don't know what
I searched my whole house, and I have a basket. It's a few feet away from me. I got to get a little closer to me at some point. That has about 10 or 11 toques in it. All of them are absurd. So
interesting. A little flop there in the corner, and the linesman not having none of it, and so the referee respecting that decision and didn't call it. And I think that's the right one, as that one just gets kicked out, and Crocombe is struggling. Long may this continue. Do you get a goalkeeper sub at the half?
And Sean, nice to see you, Dale. Thanks for joining. Santiago's here again, one of our longer time followers.
Ooh, Rathbone getting it up and a little bit close to the body.
Yeah. What's the rules on that? If you go to kick and then a guy comes flying in out of nowhere, they blame you?
I mean, it's kind of like a rear end collision where somebody spikes the brakes, right? Like, at what did they spike you have the obligation to end up making sure you don't get the boots up and create a hazard. And so unless the person in front of you is spiking the brakes, it's sort of your responsibility. Don't follow too close, even if you end up getting caught up and should have had a lot of time, and the person in front of you is being a dip. Swept in far area, dangerous. Burton Albion knocks it down, cleared by Seb Revan, but right to the boots of Burton Albion, and they're going to get it back for another recycle here through Watt, who goes far post and gets it, and that time it's knocked down by Palmer, who's back there defensively, and then runs past and gets forward, and it goes out, and we'll get a throw in. Well done by Palmer, stepping in there that was a dangerous sort of, you never know what to expect with these free plays, because I was like, I don't think they're going to do much with that one from distance, but the wind hooking it over and away from everybody. And then, needing the windbreaker jackets for this one. One of the longer-term followers and not the oldest, says Santiago, giving you the props for going easy on him.
Hey, if you're not John from Boston, who apparently I've scared off the streams, I'm not likely to be giving you too hard of a time.
Well done through the feet there between Rathbone and Revan, but it's a little bit too close to the feet of Ollie, but I don't know what Seb could have done there to lay it off earlier, is because he had Burton Albion defender on him, but we're going to get a throw in 20 yards out. Seb Revan playing it in. Rathbone dancing, triggers it back to Revan, and it gets kicked out. We'll get another throw in. I cut you off.
No. I was. I think I might be a little ahead of you on the stream. I thought the call Seb knocked it off somebody, so I was like, that's an awful call.
Yeah, throw in goes in. I'm at 9:40 coming up right there. Seb Revan, he's got the little chips over on the left-hand side, getting it through and freeing things up as we've got to switch over to the right-hand side now because of that play by Revan. Gets it over to Cleworth, over to Barney. Barney's dancing. Cleworth, nice little play to Barney. He's going to serve this, I'm sure. No, he's going to go closer goal line. There's a service. Far post. Bounces around and Crocombe fight that one off with the wind blowing it.
Yeah, that looked really good. Again,
it did look really good.
Cleworth coming forward, Barney doing Barney things. Perfect service,
Yeah, that just spun, wind holding, blew it back towards everybody. Nobody there, and Lee going to serve it up. Dangerous, spun it, ended up being punched away, and it goes to Barney over on the right-hand side. 18 yards, he's going to play it forward to Cannon. Cannon draws it back in, cleared straight up into the air. Brunt goes, knocks it down, maintains control.
Yeah, did you see how he controls that one touch to the carpet? Yeah. No jumping around, easy to handle.
Yep. Palmer got two guys on him, and he gets his pocket picked, and he goes the other way. He gets his help, but it's there too late, and it's played down the length of the field to Burrell. Brunt.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Burrell.
This is definitely our best back three as far as ball on their feet and EOC's long, very controlled passing. And then the two that can play it out from the back on the wings. This is definitely the best active backline.
Yeah, for sure. Dave Foster said, I'm reminded of NFL games where there's insane wind and crazy missed field goals. Is there a soccer forgive me equivalent? I don't know if there is. I know that if I was shooting for an Olympico, if you were going up against the where Chomp is right now would be the time to do it, because if you didn't have the bend on the ball, the wind certainly would aid you in doing that. So it'll be interesting to see what in-swingers do for corners. But Burton Albion gives it away. EOC steps up in front of Burrell, which I still don't understand that decision. But as I said, looking at the statistics in the Who Are You series, I said where I think they have the issues is they just can't connect up to their top player, their top three, I guess. Burrell, Kalinauskas, and Bennett. And it seems to be that's what we're running into so far, whether because Crocombe win giving it away or just not able to connect in open play. It's nothing really.
The Who Are You stuff that you were talking about, there was a recommendation that was going around about us grabbing one of the young lads from Burton Albion.
Yeah, Orsi. That's Danilo Orsi, who's the 6-goal, 2-assist man. He's been in 8 goals out of the 16 that they've scored this season, and he's on the bench. And they brought him in Burrell instead, and I don't get it. I mean, I get it that you're losing, but there's Burrell actually outstrengthed EOC and turned on him, and so he's brought himself, so we got to give him credit for that one. And the flick out does nothing. Rathbone comes out and gets it. Don't ever have to apologize, W&G. I hope all is well with you. Woo! 0-5. Now, Mystery, are you from the UK? And you're writing that as though that's home team 0, away team 5, and you're thinking we're going to get that?
Yeah, I thought Mystery was from Wrexham.
Yeah, so that would make sense for me. Huddersfield, already up on Mansfield. I think I want to draw on that one. Other than Birmingham and Wickham, I think I just want draws everywhere. Lose points. Matty James. Whoa, ball. Well done. Set that one up in the air to hold up for Barney. The only problem was the delay of it holding up allowed the defender to get in there.
Goal kick going for a corner, yeah.
There you go. Cambridge 1-0. Shrewsbury and Mansfield 0-1. Huddersfield, everywhere else is 0-0. Perfect. Cambridge 1, Shrewsbury 0, Mansfield 0, Huddersfield 1, everywhere else 0-0. See, I don't want Orsi, and somebody else can tell me I'm wrong. I mean, just look at it statistically, 28 years of age, not really the striker I'm looking to add if we're looking to do the climb. He's scored goals for Crawley, 19. He's been scoring goals here, 6. Palmer into the net, knocks it, or into the box, knocked it down. Lost control of it, tried to chip it forward and banged into a body, and it comes back out to Barney, who's going to spin, turn, try and look for service. Nice little chip over to Cannon, who's got some space. Draws it back. Well done. Playing it on the floor. Barney and Cannon playing catch. Get it to Cleworth. Slide it up to Matty James. He's got Cannon over the other side. Loses it in his feet. And here comes Burton Albion trying to get it up to Burrell. And EOC says no. And turns it the other way. Right to Barney. Lost it over there. As Sraha, one of the new guys, comes in. 20. 22. Woo. Rathbone drills it. Had a streaking. Was that Elliot Lee trying to get there? And it beat Crocombe. Just couldn't get to it as the rain coming down from
wow. How does that keeper not extend a foot out of the goal to stop that cross?
Because he's 31. I say that looking over at Chomp. Chomp at 38.
Yeah, that his reaction time is a good sign. That was 1.5 yards in front of the goal, and he couldn't stop a low cross like that. That's not good.
That's a Swirly's got the trying to create controversy here.
Is it me? Do you see Rathbone's running around with confidence? His chest puffed out. He looks like he's like in the zone for him. You know what I mean? He's feeling good and confident on the ball.
Yeah. No, it's to be fair, I think right now everybody's.
Yeah, Brunt looks phenomenal. He looks so much more composed.
He's only has the one weakness in the game that we've identified like 2 or 3 times. Sometimes his aggressiveness, and EOC does this remarkably well, stepping in front of players and getting there in time, closing in on players and forcing turnovers. For Brunt, sometimes he gets the timing wrong. And Seb, well done, Seb, gets it back to Brunt, and he gets clattered into, goes down, an apology, and we'll take it over. It was
probably fair to say that he was used to a back line of 4, where I think it was far easier for him to know his role and when he extends, when he doesn't, what was going on. And a back line of 3 asking him to creep quite a ways further up the pitch in certain scenarios was foreign to him, and he definitely struggled early, and EOC let him know it.
Yeah, I get it. What was I saying here? Swirly Glasses says, "What about recalling Dalby?" I'm going to save that one for the half. We'll get into that one, as we'll that one's a full thing, and then Josh over at the local pundit was talking to Hugh and got some insight into that, and what Hugh said doesn't make any sense to me. So let's save that one, because that one's and I'll maybe write it down, or somebody remind me. Dalby, Scotland, we'll call that. And hi, Michelle. Nice to see you here. And the goal trigger, Brendan, Dave suggested might be a little bit too much. Could be a spoiler, because we're getting 17 and a half minutes in.
Fair point.
Ooh. Is it Burrell? Is it Burrell? I'm not going to go with his first name because I'm going to struggle with that even more. But right now, the thing I like about this is, and the question that we had was, are we going to be able to create, right? And against a team that we should be higher in possession on, and we won't have the counter punch effectiveness. And so far, minus the odd little mistake like that one was that a pass from Cleworth or from Matty James that got it wrong in any event? Yeah. There's the mascot's in there all by himself down on the line. Not affected by the rain down in that corner as the hoarding gets dumped. It is an ugly, ugly, ugly day. Just find one way to get one in. What's more triggering than a spoiler? Well done on the play, Dave. Man, even the throw-ins are diving down, right? Like, just the ball is dying all over the pitch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Dave. Dave took it right out of my mind. I was thinking this could be the first time that you see someone throw the ball in and have it go, 3/4 the length of the pitch.
Doesn't make it for an entertaining game anyway, watching scrambly all over the place.
Yeah, Vince is talking about them hyping up, bringing back Dalby. I don't think anybody with any sense is thinking that's a smart move, but
that's sort of hinting on my thing. And then, better to splurge on a championship caliber striker. And I'm a little bit bolder than most. I know that there was somebody like even on the Who Are You? I was talking about, and I forget his name, and I'm going to get into trouble. But the young new journalist who was speaking to Football World and said Danilo Orsi could be the answer, and I was like, but can't be. I mean, a 28-year-old striker. Like I want to be spending more than just. I mean, what's Danilo Orsi going to capture as far as a transfer? It's not going to be in the millions. At least unless somebody made a mistake.
Do you think us essentially winning out the rest of this year makes it more likely that we'll spend big or less likely?
More.
I just was curious what your feelings were. Yeah.
Yeah. If we don't perform well and we end up in the playoff area and it's now a question mark as to what we're going to do, I think you might say, you know what, we're going to just let these guys run and see if they can hold off and do it. And we're going to consolidate it as a worst case scenario, take our shot in the playoffs and see what happens. Then that works. If you feel like they've got you into the position and having a chance, especially given, remember the championship has that 3-year average of losses that you take into account that you're not allowed to exceed. If you want to get around that setup, that system, you incur the losses in the league, in the lower leagues. And that's what Birmingham has done. They said, hey, we've gone down. Let's load up and fill up the expenses, and our turnover is not going to count in that 3-year rolling average. And so if you're Wrexham, do you do the same? It doesn't have to be as extreme, but do you? And I think if we're higher up, then that's what you go and do is you grab, spend £5 million. If we're in the top, that's what I think. I don't have that sort of money. Okay. I'm not the person making the decisions. But if you're into this legitimate and you're looking to move up, excuse me, and you bring in the new owners who've got some capital as well. Yeah, it's just a scrappy game, isn't it?
Santiago, he wants to make sure he gets all the jokes in before anybody else beats him to it. So he's dropping 3 on us at once.
The game is winding down instead of winding down. Let's not blow things out of proportion and disgusting. Well, Dave, it makes it's financially, it's strategically, it's according to the regulations, the right time to do it now. But do I think? I mean, I'm thinking at least 5 million. But if you wanted to really go full Birmingham and they went like, let's grab 20 million quid worth of people all in one January window, I think that might be too much to change up the entire structure of the team in January. But I think you go and you can grab 5, 6, 7. I know it's nerve-wracking, isn't it, Denise? 70% possession. I don't know. Woody's starting to get nervous. That's the thing is the longer it goes 0-0, the
Woody knows what he's doing. He's a reverse jinx master.
There you go. We'll take it. But it does. I would expect if everyone's going to be fighting some sort of ugly weather everywhere. Down the UK is Sraha, one of the young guys that I said I wonder why he's in. Oof. Tries to be a bowling pin or a bowling ball in a bowling alley, runs through about 3 people before finally toppling Brunt and drag him to the ground.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
Jen here. And her 9. Jen, what's your daughter's name so we can do this shout out? Well, you don't have to tell me if you want to keep it private. That's fair too. But loves Wrexham. That's good. We enjoy the fact that she's a fan of Wrexham.
Handball. Call it, ref.
I'm going to skip by that one from David. Messy game, balls everywhere. Now, after hearing that last one, no, don't do it. Don't turn this. Don't challenge the PG-13 ranking.
Sam's pointing out our way too high possession already.
Yeah, it's certainly a thing. Oh, I missed a comment from your dad who's in here. Your mom's in here. Van Kooten. Might as well. I haven't been calling out any Brewers names, any Burton Albion names. Gets it up, but it doesn't connect to Bennett, and so it skips by, and Revan throws it back into Brunt. Brunt, switch on to Cleworth. Let's start to do a thing here. Barney draws it back to Cleworth.
Thomas is feeling the same as you. He's like has a lot of good stuff. He just doesn't feel we should be saying in the chat.
Yeah, lots of
all pint jokes if we're at the pint and drinking together.
Exactly, yes. Barney with it, 20 yards out, gonna cross that in, far post, wind. Bleh. Anna, thanks for joining us on hopefully it's beautiful when the weather is wherever you are, on a cold and blustery day in the UK with a whole heck of a lot of wind, but that's awesome. I think you might be, other than when my little ones come in, they don't actually watch this, but I think you might be the youngest recorded Red Horde watcher. So, welcome. EOC, Burrell chasing after him, and it gets forwarded up to Howard. Moved over. Chalk gets it. It's just, even the headers to try and get control of the ball that's up in the air, like Chalk goes up for that one, and you think that's just an easy head it down and advance the ball forward, but it comes off the left side of his head and scoots out for a throw-in.
Chat's good, active. Everyone's in a good mood today.
I was just
going to kind of cement this thing.
And I was just going to say, I also really like Anna because she also said that I'm a good person, which that's novel. I don't get that as feedback. Anyways, Bennett with it over on the left-hand side. Just gets pushed up by James, but James gives it away, gets it down, and it's Kalinauskas. Just turnover, then gets held up. And fortunate there to get a free kick is Rathbone. I think he played that before the foul occurred and got it a little bit too heavy with the touch. But because he didn't have a chance to play it, in hockey, that's a 2-minute interference call. Stepping in front of the player, chasing after the ball / puck. Oh, I wouldn't have put Paul Mullen over on the left-hand side. So I don't know, Vince, what you're looking at. Starting Seb over Paul Mullen, I never would have considered that as an equal trade. Paul is in for Lee. And I don't think Lee you're putting on the left side. And I don't think it's an injury situation, but I question whether Mullen would get in over Lee today as EOC just comes over and clears that one out. It's going to be all that steady defense that's going to be necessary. Sarah Ricketts here from Blackpool and says hello, and then says, my mother, hello from Blackpool. My mother come Wrexham to visit, please say. Is that what I'm supposed to say? My mother come Wrexham?
Yeah.
Or just say hi. Because I can say hi to you and your mom. Shoutouts are good things. I'm all for them. Godwin Malife. The one number that I haven't looked at, 22 Gilligan, or 25 Gilligan down the right-hand side. I've only noticed him on a missed pass. It was not his fault. And here we go, corner. This is where you're serving up the left-footed in-swinger, right? Because it's who knows what the wind is going to do, and you're just causing havoc trying to get it close to goal. Put it up gently and let the wind run that towards the net and see if you can get some sort of weird, ugly thing. Left-footed in-swinger. You're playing it short to do an out-swinger? Well, it ended up being dangerous anyway. Scramble all over the place, and Chomp has to run over and grab it. Interesting election. Somebody who knows more about football than I do, make that one make sense. You've got the wind blowing. You've got a 38-year-old keeper who you'd assume is not as agile as he once was. He's still pretty agile. Why would you not do the left-footed in-swinger and just try and throw the mob at the net? I don't know.
I don't know if David Wood was taking pot shots at me or just bringing up another topic, but I was critical of Rathbone early on. He just didn't look settled and didn't look like it was his game, and was worried how long it was going to take for him to acclimate, and he obviously is now. So he was pointing that out, and the same for Matty James, although I didn't have as many concerns about James coming in and figuring out his position. He looked pretty solid right from go for me.
New game we drink every time Sean makes a hockey reference.
Yeah.
And John says, I know I'm whining about lack of goals, but bottom of the table, let's get one on the board. I'm with you, John, but like the wind is going to be a thing here. Like to me, as I'm watching this all play out, this is just going to be first team scores is probably going to win it because the wind is going to be the best defender that you've got, right? It's just clear it, and even every throw it, it's just things are dying all over the place. So, EOC with the foul on Burrell says the new official.
W&G
Redding ties it up.
Yeah, Wickham score. Wickham likes to taunt us by making us think they're going to drop points and then steal something later, right? So,
Dave, with a good analogy there about crowdfunding a striker, isn't that sort of what the whole Wrexham experience has been? I mean, 3.6 million followers, trying to get those followers to come into the lineup. And for a lot of people who are in North America and can't get over, it's been like, yeah, I'll buy an extra jersey or 2 or 3 or 5 because whatever, it goes to the club and it's part of the enjoyment. And we're not buying season tickets or even a lot of tickets in any event. So it has been in some regard.
Mystery Gardner calling his shot, pointing into the stands, naming the goals.
Everybody wants to tie it up. The Stags go level with Huddersfield, so I like those outcomes. You can stay silent on those ones now, WG, for the rest of the day. That would be helpful. As to the Fotenbob stats, blowing everybody out of the water, Lewis Brunt, 7.5 already. Nice little play by Revan, chipping it over to Cannon. It goes up in the air and it comes out. And is that going to be a throw-in? No, I thought maybe somebody must have touched that. Cambridge 2-0 up on Shrewsbury. Cambridge starting to put points together, climbing the ladder. David's most solid of the race course on a free. Heard it here first. I wonder what the odds would be. Not that I'm advocating gambling and bet 365, but I wonder what that would be. And yes, thanks, W&G. Yeah, you all want to increase the turnover, not just the owner's pockets. I get that sense. As here comes Sraha. Sraha, what's his 6.6? Is he the highest on theirs? No, Van Kooten. But I was curious about Sraha. He's looked good. 22, 25, and 18, the 3 young guys for Burton who have been put in by Housnell to step in. Barnett gets taken down. Yellow card's already in the hand. It's coming forward. Sraha taking that one on. Late challenge.
By the way, with the yellow card coming up, that's one of the things I plan on having some emote for the yellow card coming up and then a way to mark it on the screen.
Same with that'd be awesome.
I had created all those things to put in chat, all the different players' faces and stuff, and somebody never put them into YouTube.
It's because I couldn't get the right size PNG and I didn't ever track it down. I'm sorry. I'll do it. We'll have a look at it again because I was working on some other stuff in the background and I wanted to get the subscriber, new follower, new joiner. Speaking of which, 34 minutes coming up on the clock right now. But if you haven't yet, bump that like button. Let the algorithm gods know that we're there. Keep the chat rolling. and hopefully we'll get over top of this. They'd always talk on the streaming when you watch people about YouTube being throttled and all that sort of stuff. And it's fascinating because I always thought, it just means your content got weaker, but it does. Like, you can actually see the throttling happening in the analytics. And for whatever reason, I think they say they do it because they're encouraging me to pay for advertising. The problem is, I think people would find me through the searches, and I don't think people would be like, who's this Wrexham thing? Let's watch this just randomly through an advertisement. Yeah. But if keep us out there and let us know by hitting that like button. That would be the favor I ask of you. As Crocombe comes all the way out to play this one from a dangerous spot, suddenly 20 yards, 30 yards away from his net, sorry. And he's going to sweep that to go. They could have put a whole bunch of bodies forward, and that would have been potentially dangerous, right? Get a whole Palmer hold down the goalkeeper's entry at the 18-yard box and try to line it up for a thumping shot. Burrell, 5.9 on the FOTMob stats, lowest on the pitch.
Wow.
I hope that Housnell continues to give him the time. I mean, you've got a guy who, at least recently, has had a goal-scoring history. Fascinating background, too, with Orzi. East Florida University College, I was like, never heard of it. And that's where he went and played his football in the U.S. before getting back over to the UK. And then he went lower table, and he's toiled and applied his trade, and before he climbed up. Nice little pass there by Lee, sneaking it over to Matty James, who scoops it up in the air to Barney. 18-yard box, crosses there. Revan, handball. That was like this, was it not? Did Revan not volley that up into his
It looked
arm?
like Revan's cross was knocked down by an arm. Yeah, that was extended.
That was up. I want the replay on that one. 36 minutes in, Brunt. Giveaway by Brunt to Burrell, and now EOC's on his horse, and there you go, EOC. The well saved. That'll hurt the FOTMob stats, 7.5. I wonder what an egregious turnover looks like.
Oh, my goodness.
And his clearance isn't good. Rathbone helps it on, and it's headed back in, chested down by Rathbone. Tackle, there's nothing in that. It was a good tackle there by Watt, who stepped in front of Rathbone. Yeah, that's a handball. His arm was backwards, hit him in the back of the elbow. That was Godwin Malife. Watch when he hits the ground here. He's facing the net. He gets twisted around the other way, and it hits the back of his arm. Right arm facing the wrong way. And that's not... that would have been on target.
Yeah, but shouldn't there be a question to, just because you're not looking, you shouldn't have your arms up in an area where you could interfere.
He doesn't get a reprieve because his back was to goal. The assessment is what is your arm in a unnatural position.
The Paramount announcers go, well, it was obviously not intentional. I'm like, irrelevant.
Okay. We don't get that stupidity from Mark Griffiths.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you in the U.S. got that as a treat from the Paramount broadcasters, then somebody clip this and I can say, you guys are a bunch of idiots. Intention does not matter. Whether his arm was in a natural position or not matters. It should have been a penalty. And yeah, you can say to him, it was never intentional. You can tell him on the pitch, that's not your fault. You were just making the play, make him feel good about himself, but it doesn't make it not a penalty. And Paramount, if you pay me enough, I'll fill in on Saturdays. How's that? No, I won't.
Do you see this one touching that's going on? The tight passing with defenders all around. James, immediately doesn't stay on his feet. It's pink.
Yep. Has been impressive today, as well as there's been like two or three, which whether it's just by necessity rather than by design, they've made a couple nice passes in tight spaces, like nutmegs or across. There's sort of another one by Revan, who has a player coming. Revan's been doing that well today, just sneaking the ball past people who are coming forward on the press.
See, Gail's saying that if you didn't move your arm, intent is in play. I didn't think that was the case, Gail.
No, there's no intent. It's whether it's in a natural position or not. Because if it was to block ball movement, why would I not just run around defensively and just hold my arms out? Right? I'm not moving it towards the ball, but I'm making myself large. And so it's natural position type assessment and an ability to get it out of the way. So, yes, there we go. Swirly's got it. If it's intentional, it's a red for denying a goal scoring opportunity. Unintentional, no card, but still a pen. Yes, I agree with that one. Rathbone limping, haven't noticed. He seemed to be okay there, spinning on that pass over to Revan. Revan gets it in, not there. Just got stabbed by Gilligan. Gilligan? Gilligan?
The skipper, too.
I was doing the same thing. A 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough. I'm not going to continue.
It's already there.
Okay. The pitch was getting rough.
We're going to have to concoct some sort of coconut vehicle to score here. Coconut-powered vehicle.
In the corner of... I don't want to do this anymore. I stopped driving. Aaron, I'm listening at work. I haven't a clue what kind of game this is. Ugly, windy, rainy, blustery, Revan with it. We've looked as good as I think we can look. Lee getting an opportunity down towards goal line cross. No, he doesn't take on his man. He's got Kalinowskis way over on the wrong side. I was all confused. Now it's flipped up again. It's right there, Brent. No, can't get up there. And there's a hold on Palmer. Buchanan hammers it back into Palmer, and it gets cleared out again. Lots of touches in the box, just no poaching opportunities, as that's two that got thumped off of Barney. The first one landed back on, I believe that was Sweeney coming forward, was it? Or Bennett? Bennett coming forward. And then it hit Barney again. Bennett. And I got to scroll my chat down. A stabbing is definitely at least a yellow card offense. At least.
There we go. Will showing his age.
And now singing about the Fearless Crew, I immediately think of Fid, which I haven't given the shout out on stream, but if you haven't gone to them as a podcast of the year. By the Football Supporters Association. And so well done to them. The video of them winning the award is classic. Them just recording it to see their name in lights. Dangerous! Chomp with the big stop. Bennett with the opportunity right in front of Max Kluwerth, who defended it strongly, was right up on him, but Bennett able to go to ground with a left-footed sweep from about 16, 15 yards out. Max is there. 16, 15 yards out, but right to... Ooh, a new one. Exclamation mark save.
Yeah, you missed it. You got the Gandalf, you shall not pass.
Ah. The XG sitting at a solid 0 can identify no shots on target for either squad. To be fair, rounding down to 0. I mean, we're sitting at 0.07 to 0.02 XG after half of football. Two shots, one versus one shot.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
I like Dale.
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm just having a good time looking at this thing, and then you start to realize, hey, we're through a half here in a game where we really should be taking out 3 points and going home, and it's not working right now. One would hope, John. One would hope.
The
reality is it'll be interesting to
bin, and as defenders run into the box to defend, they take their arms off and put them in the bin and collect them when they leave.
Oh God! I'm going to cost us the match by not wearing the hat. I didn't even do my hair today because I was like, "What's the point?" I know I'm going to get asked to put a hat on at some point. Still too soon. Can't first half magic in. I'm hoping the team finds a way to eke out goals in advance so I don't have to toque it up every time, especially when it starts to get to April and May. It gets a little warm in here. David Wood, for the record, I would happily spend 90 minutes stroking Chomp's beard. Oh, it is a weird Saturday morning, afternoon.
Yeah.
Yikes.
David just tossed up the one for all of us to spike through with that. Like, he just gave us so many things to say off that.
I guess I'm doing dad things. So let me get this one rolling, and then you can go see Mama and have your food, yeah?
Just push this button.
There you go. How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, good. See you later. Close the door, please. Thank you. Lee with an opportunity. I have no idea how we earned this free kick, Brendan, but we've got one from 20 yards out. Right-footed Lee staring at it. I'm taking a crack. This is where you kind of wish you had Mullen out there as well.
Yeah, he likes the hook to the upper right corner, and that's where he's shaded. It's going to make it difficult now. I think he's going to pass it because he can cover that upper right corner. That's what Lee likes.
Can you get up and down from this close? I guess the wind's going to hold it up a little bit.
He could if he kicks it wide right and hook it in, but he's not going to get there with the keeper. He still went for it. Wow. How do you still go for that? He's shaded to that side. He knew.
Missed over to the right. Yeah. Halftime whistle blows. That's the end of it. In French, Sean, chapeau. Yeah, this is classic Wrexham. Rathbone compared the team to Alex Ferguson's Man United team. They'd attack last minute, win by a goal or two. Well, it frustrates me. I'm gonna end up like causing damage to my hair. Wearing a hat, not all the time. No. So, look, this is. I don't know. Should we do a poll? Was that the right call to make that attempt on goal by Elliot Lee? I think you have to try and take a stab, and the reality is you're either trying to punch it through the wall and hoping it goes your way, or you're taking a crack and hoping that Crocombe can't get over there. I think that's pretty standard as far as setting the wall up and then the keeper covering that other side. If it was up and high and perfectly placed, you can still score it. The reality is he missed it too far to the right-hand side and nothing in it.
It might, maybe you're right. At that distance, dead straight on, it doesn't give you time to get the ball up in the air. Plus, with the wind, what were you going to get up in the air that you could play for a header? So maybe you really had no other choice. It was all wall. It was all, goal or nothing.
Yeah, it's end of the half, a scrappy game like that. The thing that you want to get is, I think, any opportunity you can get to get the ball on goal, you take it. Haven't put the poll up yet, so let's go ahead and do that. And people say hat or no hat. How about this? What is the earliest the hat can go on? And I'm going to say start of the game, the half, and then I'm going to say 65 minutes plus, and then I'll say, let's say 75 minutes plus, and I'll change the other one to 60. Go easy on me, guys. I don't want to, and girls, I don't want to sweat myself into oblivion here. But we'll have that one. Look, we're joking around on this one, but as I'm joking around, Burton not really a threat, but us not really a threat either. Just one shot on target from Burton out of the two that they took. We've had a lot of possession. We've won more aerial duels, but the XG literally sitting at 0.08 and 0.09. 66% possession. We've got to do a thing. I am curious to see how we handle the wind being in our favor. I don't think it changes much between the midfield stuff, but it might change things towards goal. The reality being we weren't really throwing a lot at the net anyway. 186 passes, 75% for the accurate passes. Them at 55%, so a big gap there. Maybe we will be a little bit better on. Wrexham's bench keeper is Brad Foster. And did I see that? Somebody said I just logged on. Send Sean to the bog. We're going to need something special today. Yeah, and we've got Fall and Mullen coming in off the bench. And then there's Kim saying it had a good dip and might have snuck in on target. And I think the other thing is I was expecting the only place that you can really go with it is to the top right corner, but he didn't. He went kind of low and maybe unexpected in doing that if that was his intention.
Charles and a few others are going to join you with the hats. Charles went and got his out of his car.
Took Nation.
That. The horde power of the Took, led by Sean, is the key here.
Took Nation.
Yes. All over the world, people putting on hats, even in Aruba, where Deandra is, to inspire Wrexham to score.
And there we go. Stephen Reed says the fault is at not doing a nut check. If you don't,
hey,
going back to the Paul Mullen injury freak out that we had.
When the game's going, if you want to do the exclamation point luck, you will see the nut check. Emoji.
Seriously? Somebody's got to do that. Somebody's got to throw out the exclamation mark luck. That's good stuff. Two Beards are selling special Rossi and Adrian boxer shorts. Special being the appropriate word if you're buying boxer shorts with their mugs on them.
Rob said Mob's calling him Ben Foster, not Brad.
Oh, are they really? Hold on. Are they really? I got to go to the Fought Mob here and scroll through the lineup and take a screenshot of that if they have. It does say Ben Foster. Hold on.
Yeah, great call, Rob.
I got to take a screenshot of this. Get a snip and sketch. I didn't. Okay. Ben Foster.
Dave, just so you know, you guys are hitting commands. I thought that if you did commands during the halftime and the commentating parts, it would copy right over the top of Sean and I. So I have them only work while we're in game. In game, okay. So somebody's going to have to wait till we flick back to me and my ugly mug on the screen by itself. I don't know. So we're going to go through the stats here, have a look at the scores. I have the stats up. Okay, let's do the stats. I mean, I kind of went through them already. I guess the expected goals there from the set piece that Lee had, adding as a 0.07 for that attempt on goal. But 66% possession. When was the last time we had over the 60% possession in a half? Yikes. 0.15 XG to 0.08. Total shots 4. Nothing on target for us. 1 for them out of the 2 that they took. 3 extra passes since I last recorded. 186 to 70. The accurate passes. So we've been better at dealing with the wind, but still not great. So it's an awkward one, this one. As far as defensively, I'm curious. The interceptions 4-2. Because that's been EOC and them sneaking in and grabbing them. So that was worth more than 10 million, I would think. But yeah, I'm all for 5-10 million quid being spent on the strike force in this one. And I think the Wind possessed the ball more than either team. Fair comment. I don't think there's much to take out of the stats. It was an ugly, scrappy, messy game. The reality is 186 accurate passes. That puts us on pace to have more than we normally have. So a consequence of the wind, we're playing more through the deck than we are through the air. And you can see that with the passing statistics. As to the League One table and what's happening around us, Wickham sitting 1-1 in their game against Reading. I like that. Reading, go ahead and take that. I'm okay with that. Birmingham sitting 0-0 in their game with Barnsley. I like that. There's an opportunity here. Let's not lose track. As much as this is an ugly game, you got to go and take points. And getting 3 in this one, when it's ugly, and you're playing a lower table squad, we still have a job to do. And right at the moment, it's being questioned. Huddersfield drawing back into the top of the argument because everybody above them is equal. Huddersfield up 2-1 on the Stags. I mean, that hurts for the Stags. That puts them 24 points, 17 games. They're going to be 16 points off of the top of the table, looking up at 7 points away from 6th place.
if they're not able to turn that one around and the results stay as to where they're at. Bolton ended up being postponed in their game with Bristol Rovers, so they'll have to play that on another day. There was one other postponement as well. That would be Lincoln City. Oh, no, they played Charlton, sorry. Lincoln City, Charlton, they ended up in the 0-0 draw. There was one other postponement, and I missed who it was. Blackpool, Rotherham. They didn't get off today either. There's the El Clasico being mentioned again. Why do I just have a sense that that's going to be the goal? Oh, and Jeannie saying hi to the little man who made his appearance. A win situation, the Olympico.
Yeah. Santiago showing his age because no one under 30 does puns.
So the table, an opportunity, right? Like you've got teams that are all sitting around on draws. Stockport is equal with Exeter City. Reading's equal with Wickham. Birmingham's even with Barnsley. Like that's all of the teams around us sitting, other than Huddersfield, sitting on 1 point. Grab your 3 points, turn it into a smash and grab, and you end up being equal with Wickham, although they would have a game in hand, and potentially jumping up an extra 2 points on Birmingham if we can pull this one off, although they would have 2 at hand. But there's still a job to do. And so if you're Parky, how do you get everybody focused on a way to beat the Wind and a Brewers team that hasn't been doing much? 34.3% possession, 55% pass accuracy for Burton Albion. What do we do, Brendan?
I think we're fine. I think more of the same. Keep going. I'm not thinking that we're desperate at the moment to have to make changes. Everyone seems to be playing well. I'd love to see some more corners, if possible. Get it in the box, take our shots. I do think that height's going to matter at some point in this game with the Wind. So
if their pass accuracy is what it is, and it continues in the second half and they struggle into the Wind, do you 4-3-3 them in this match? I look at O'Connor. Do I bring him in for somebody maybe in the midfield, to be fair? If you want to change things up with somebody in the midfield, that's an option. Scar, I love Scar defensively, but to me, I want EOC out there for his offensive upside and his interception ability. Mendy subbing out for Revan. I don't think Revan's looked good today, so I wouldn't be on board for that. But as far as you're sitting there looking at Mullen, Fall, and Fletcher as against the strike force of Lee and Palmer, do you go 4-3-3, not immediately, but over time, and pull the swap so that you get all three of those guys out there?
I think you can get away with it. I mean, what we didn't point out is that, I said it briefly at the beginning, Trump was kicking into the Wind and still able to handle it. And the goal kick by Burton, went all the way through the pitch. So what you're looking at is you'd figure that it's far more difficult to judge the ball, and do well going into the Wind with hoof balls and getting the ball downfield. So we might have the advantage in the second half, is what I'm saying, where you could put a blast from deep and it would have a lot more speed on it to potentially score, and it wouldn't it wouldn't slow the ball up as much as it is going the way it was in the first half. So I don't know. I maybe again, like 70th minute, you swap out and go
start to move things. Yeah. I think 70th, 65th, 70th minute, you bring Mullen and Fletcher in and you let them do their thing. But if you get to the 70th, 75th minute, you get Mo Fall in as well. I would be on board for that, and also that gives you an opportunity to see how Fletcher and Mullen do in the situation. I put the poll up there for you to see whether I'm crazy or not. So far, the early returns saying no. But we'll see. We need more corners. I agree with that. I'm going to bring up the chat and go through some of the discussion there. Where are we? Ollie's in for the air game. Why do we want to play in the air? Put it in strikers who know how to use their feet. Hey, John, I'm with you on that one, to be fair. I think both teams are doing what they can to be fair. Haha. And then Mystery saying, Chomp's going to score first. Hey, 7-on-7. He's proven his prowess. If he's moving forward, he's a threat from anywhere.
He's got the wind in his back this time. So
yeah, anywhere on the pitch now, Chomp becomes a threat. And Gail saying, identifying, we do seem to be like the second half, which I prefer finishing stronger than anyone else, of course. An early goal always relieves. See, I just want an early goal because I want to protect the follicles of my hair and not wear a hat every Saturday morning and sweat through it. But we're about to get underway here. The second half, still nervy. I'm getting more and more nervy. I just don't like it because the wind is what it is. Where is Mo Fall, whom we spent money bringing on to strengthen the front? Yeah, but I'm not talking $500,000. I'm talking like drop the $5 million, go big. And for $500,000, Mo Fall still gets his opportunity to grow with the team. We're underway, by the way. Sorry, I didn't flag that. We're probably about 4 or 5 seconds in if you were slow on the bump. And Barney goes back and clears it and gives it to Palmer to go. The pace of Ollie Palmer getting there first. Cross, and it wasn't right there, and it ended up going low. Man, he outpaced Sweeney, did Ollie Palmer. As Matty James tries to step in front of the Burton attacker and doesn't get there, and it goes to EOC, and he's going to flip it up to Rathbone, and we set it up with Brunt over on the left-hand side. Wrexham from left to right on your computer monitors. Heavy touch by Brunt. Good tackle by Burton Albion. And Seb Revan's there to try to win the midfield scramble bodies. Rathbone has hit the deck like 3 or 4 times, and another nice tackle by Brunt, knocking that out, allowing the black jerseys to get in time. Burton Albion, right to left on your computer monitor. Yes, subscription, join, sign up. Memberships are only $1 if you hit the join button down below. And you can get some emojis, which maybe I might actually add the pictures that Brendan spent all of that time making. I haven't weaponized as of yet. Stephen Reed putting the bet on for the Clueworth goal on a corner. I'm feeling an Olympico as Rathbone. Did he just get a yellow for that one? Did he get one? Chomp. With the wind, a bullet. Screamer ends up on the head of Sweeney. Punts it up in the air to Bennett. Bennett loses it. Now it's a mad scramble 35 yards out. Is who's going to get it first? And it's knocked down by Rathbone. He's grabbed and it gets behind Lee, and he can't get there. As Sraha punches it up to Burrell. Burrell tries to get around EOC, grabs him around the shoulder, and that's got to be a free kick, and it is. Oh, Dave. Did Parkey wind them up at the half? Wind them up at the half? Well done. And also, that was a wind-assisted Palmer sprint. It wouldn't count in the athletics world. But so is his competition. He outpaced him. Here we go. Barney, 20 yards out over on the right-hand side. Score one early. Crosses in. Easily headed away by Bennett. No, that's not Bennett. That was Watt, who came all the way back. Now he gets it up to Bennett. He goes to Burrell. EOC being chased and challenged. And oh, well done. I thought that came off the boot of Howard and thought that's going out, but instead he places it right on top of Barney's head. Headed out, throw in 40 yards out. Barney with it. Don't do a spoiler. Or freak me out. Revan with it, left-hand side.
He's just begging for it.
Yeah, maybe 18 yards. Well done. Goodwin Malife with the tackle on that one. Gets it over to Matty James. He's looking up the pitch. He finds Clueworth, right-hand side. Clueworth down. Better control so far, Barney, and we've been sniffing around the box. There's nothing there, Barney. Cross, stabbed down by Chalk. Flipped up in the air. Clueworth back over to Barney again. See, the nice thing is their clearances now are not clearing, and so it's just bend, pressure, and it's easy to apply it here, which is advantageous for us. Long ball put down. Andy Cannon stepping in front, not able to get that as it's cleared away there by Watt, turned over, then he gets wiped out by Lee in the legs. Stephen Reed with the drama today. The other thing to consider is if you're Burton Albion, at what point in time do they end up playing for the home draw?
It's a breeze. You know, a lot of family members are going to be really happy that we're letting all the dads get all the dad jokes out in this safe space.
It's a safe space. Yeah, it's a safe space. The number of eye rolls that have happened today, I think if we were to keep an eye rolling counter, that would be through the roof right now.
Or we're letting everyone get in great practice for the holidays when they'll be around their families, right? They'll be sharp.
Oh, but it's going to be a long 30 or 40 minutes here if we're dealing with all these comments and the jokes. Straw with the throw in. Cambridge up 3-0. Clueworth started with a missed header, goes back to Clueworth, just cleared away. Barney tries to get to it, can't. Lee trying to get to it, can't. Barney gets it, drags it forward, takes a stab, trying to get it to Rathbone. He danced around three people trying to draw that forward. Chomp has to come out and rescue that one on a missed header. Oh, God. Not windy, it's just all the fans. Yeah, we need a little bit more gusto in this half. I think it was just luck, Steven. Barney grabs it 35 yards out, drawing it forward towards the middle of the pitch. If you can't kick it and assist it, draw it in and score it yourself. Revan, 20 yards out, finds Barney, gone all the way over, stabs it in front, cleared out of the way by Sweeney, who just slaps it away from Palmer with the right foot. If your last name is Sweeney and you play football, do you have to be a defender? Because didn't we have, was it Lincoln City who had Sweeney? The bald-looking guy, Brennan, that was his last name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
O'Connor, nice little ball forward to Lee. Gets it in the box. Chip. Oh, just misses it. Deflected off. We'll get a corner kick off of that one. Olympico. Call it.
Steven, try it without the Y. Try it just luck.
Yeah. Right-footed in-swinger Elliot Lee. Get it into the mob. Scramble. Oh, top of the net. He was going for it. I was like, it might actually work. Dave Foster, like one of those anything that needs a pressure gauge, right? And just builds up and you got to release that pressure. And apparently best done within the Red Horde community, relieving that pressure. The family doesn't have to deal with it. Yes, and if you're a Foster, you're a goalie, apparently. Todd Sweeney, give up. Crockham. He skies his goal kick, so that one's straight up in the air and just held up, and it's punted off of O'Connell, and away they go. Burrell. Brunt has to come all the way over to fill in, and Cannon goes over and knocks it out for a throw-in. Well, I mean, we're another 8 minutes in, and I'm getting edgy. Is anybody else getting a little bit nervy? I've gone through my coffee. Oh, maybe I got a couple swills left. Sraha all the way down from his defense position to get that one. Too heavy on the entry, and it gets cleared out, sliced out, and we're going to get a throw in on our side of the half. Looking for a multi-ball. And surprisingly, the ball boys don't assist and facilitate. What? Parky having it with the fourth official over where he's allowed to stand. The crowd's been quiet. I guess it's hard to be boisterous when you're freezing in the wind. Stab, bad giveaway. That wasn't 100% Olympico attempt, right? When it came off of his boot, I was hopeful. Didn't go far enough down the post, and so Crocombe was able to just kind of watch that hit top of the net anyway. Northern Border is going to layer his toques or hats every 5 minutes starting at 75. I'm going to need a post-game photo if this ends up going. Stepped on was so free kick on that one. Yeah, John Lane's starting to get itchy here. Yep, I'm with you. I mean, let's take a look at those stats. We know that we had 4 and none on target. We're now at 5 and none on target. Can't score if we can't get it there. The good news, not a lot of noise out of W&G, so long may that continue. It looks like I chose the wrong day to give mainline and heroin into my eyeballs. Yeah, I would suggest any day. Didn't have Chomp playing League One on the bingo card, and why would we be nervy? Isn't it par for the course? I get it. I guess all of the talk that I gave about Burton being legit and having all the numbers and the statistics being there, seeing the club, they have nothing going forward. It's really just been about our ability to beat the wind. And it just sucks that we haven't. Clueworth. Crocombe trying to get out there. Palmer bangs it off. Crocombe came out to go and get it. Put it on Cannon. No. Rathbone with it. That one was a mass scramble as that long ball left it out there in a place for Palmer and Crocombe to go and try and get to it. Palmer got there first. Crocombe was out to the right and couldn't get it through. Barney putting it in. Now a little bit of jam, a little bit of jump in this one. It's up forward. Matty James taking a crack that didn't look like a good attempt, to be fair. So the swinging pendulum of Matty James not on play, but Barney serves it forward and it goes out for a corner. The pressure is on as Cambridge adds another one over Shrewsbury. That play didn't blow or suck. More bluster in the attack. Seb Revan now, left-footed in-swinger. Have we seen Seb Revan delivery on a corner? I don't think I have. Cambridge at home next week, and they're starting to play better. Just our luck, right? Left-footed in-swinger, far post. It's up, and it's easily into the breadbasket of... Okay, we've tried the Olympicos now. Maybe we just try and put it a little bit closer. And here comes the counter. The mass run. Brunt comes out to put pressure on. Lee comes out, and they're going to give him a push and a shove in the back, and they'll get a free kick out of that one. Whoa, that's bold. The blood pressure meds are now starting to flow. Everybody else is starting to get a little nervy. And Northern Border going to go full Grinch, or is that Krampus? I don't know, whichever you believe in. I'll tell you what, showing my kids the whole Eastern European Krampus parades, they're well dedicated to being on the nice list. Van Houten running all the way down to maintaining, shrugging off defenders like he's a fullback, and it gets flipped up, and here comes Burton before they lose it. Oh, didn't play advantage and going to come back to a free kick on a challenge by Cannon on Bennett. Let's hope, eh, Mike? Let's hope. I thought Lee kicked that one out. It didn't. Goes for a throw. Good on the ball person getting that to us. 7 minutes until subs. Let's hope. Van Houten sounds like a cheap hotel coffee. What is that coffee called? The cheap coffee? Isn't it called Van Houten? I think it is. It's got to be Fletcher and Mullen, doesn't it, Tobias? It has to be. Lots of draws everywhere. Eke out 3 points. They'd be big. It's kind of one of those ones you go, the wind, we got a draw, not the worst, but you're playing Burton Albion, second worst in the table, and you've got a chance to get points away, and you're dominating the crap out of the game. And I don't think this is a game. One of the things that have been talked about, Rob Wright, especially leading the charge, is one of the questions that have been asked of Wrexham is, can we create? We're a counter-punching team, and we're effective in doing so, but when we have to create, we don't have it. This is a game where, because of the wind, can you really assess whether that's an issue or not? I don't think you can as well. Flicked on by Burrell, and offside. Fortunate there. Still not working for Jason on his devices to take this one in. Fascinating. People having issues with iFollow. I don't know if anybody's had that problem here.
That's strange. I follow. It's always so reliable.
Yeah. That's got to be user error.
Yeah, definitely. That's never happened to anybody else ever.
Never. And there's given direct links and still not working. You're going to get a corner. Trying to get the crowd into it is Malife on that, winning that corner. Parkey won't put fall in. He has to, doesn't he? And Kim identifying exactly what I was saying is 2 points is a difference between automatics or the playoffs. And so it's extremely important to get the wins when you should be getting them. And when you have the opportunities. Left-footed, going to take it short. They left this little short. I don't get the benefit of that extra yard before putting in the right-footed out swinger. Mullen grabs it, gets it to Palmer on the bench. He's running along the sidelines with his jacket on. Palmer being grabbed by Bennett. Back to Max, over to EOC. 61st minute, and time still counting. We need that goal. Let's go. Steven, surprising to me is I came to learn Tim Hortons isn't the only coffee out there. They actually have other brands. I don't know what they are. That's why I asked. Cluworth with it up to Barney, 18-yard box, gets it around Sraha, still moving forward, and it's stabbed out. And did Barney get his toe on it? Going to go for a corner, and here comes Seb Revan for more service from the other side. Max at 7.4, O'Connell at 7.6, Brunt at 7.9. The defenders getting stats from FOTMob. Elliot Lee, 5.5 on FOTMob. Left-footed, far post. Danger, danger, off a couple of heads, and then it's cleared out. And it's left for Matty James to go and collect it. Paramount Plus having issues. It's pretty sad that Brendan, well, not sad that Brendan, you've done this, but this isn't Brendan's full-time job. It's to make sure that you can get tech stuff off and get a broadcast going. But Brendan, the Paramount Plus and iFollow are going to have to hire you. I followed. I got frustrated. I unsubscribed. I felt better. Oh, dangerous. Brunt there. Steady Brunt. When did I think I was going to say that in September? Not frequently, but he's been confident. And here's Max running it up the midfield stripe, thinking Ollie Rathbone has the match. Gets it over to Revan on the left-hand side. 63rd minute. Switches on. Brunt, far side. Too much pace on that one. Skips out, and Barney can't knock it down. FOTMob says time to swap out the strikers. 5.5 for Lee, 6.3 for Palmer.
Steven's trying to wind you up.
I am not going to take the bait. Just not gonna take the bait. Like, why do you want to fight? Like, I feel like cross over, Seb Revan dead, not able to get her. Ollie Rathbone left-footed! Bangs, and it's going to go off a corner. Well defended there by Sweeney, who ran out and took the challenge on Rathbone. He did what Barnsley didn't do, and that was challenge the shooter. I follow Hates Me because I got a full refund on that game. Right-footed in-swinger Elliot Lee from the left-hand side. Near post, headed away. Not much in that opportunity. He'll get to do it again as Bennett just jumped up, had time, and put it out there.
You got quite a ways up there. It's going to be hard to get it around that guy.
There's something about that chemical taste in the Tim Hortons coffee that's addictive. Wonder what that could be. Oh, that's dangerous! Off the post and Olympic scores! We called it. We said it's going to be off of a corner that's going to go in like an Olympico, and that time kind of a quasi. Do you call that an Olympico? It hit the post and bounced back into the goalkeeper and went in. Yeehaw! Put it in the win column. No, not the win column.
Someone do the exclamation goal and see if I can get it working.
I went premature on the column at the win column. Maybe. We'll see. Put it on the board. 1-0. Survey says, is that an Olympico? He goes right-footed, and it hits the woodwork and bounces off the woodwork and off of the back. So I thought that had a chance to get in there. Revan was jumping off, but it comes. Was it the keeper it hit? I assumed it was the keeper diving over, but right-footed. Yeah. We had our. I was hoping that was a butt goal, but it doesn't look like it was a butt goal. Woodwork. We knew that was kind of the goal that you had to get. Woodwork. It might have actually gone straight in. Might not have actually hit the keeper. Elliot Lee with the magic. That'll help the 5.5 on the mob where he was. And let's see how high that jumps him. And now Burton Albion's got to find an opportunity to go forward. Glorious. And please, 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 does that mean I don't have to wear the hat? Unfortunately for Mo Fall. And unfortunately for Mo Fall, that means he's not going to see the pitch. The Wrexham ricochet. I thought it hit back post and then came off of the keeper, but there was a replay that I saw afterwards. It looked like it went back post and then straightly back in. And Barnsley scores against Brum. Yeah, it's a good day so far. Fletcher coming in. No hat for you.
No, the hat magic may be limited. You can't just spend it willy-nilly.
I'm with you. We're going to need that in May or April. Oh, okay, John, let's have it. He says, I think this is a good argument to bring on Fall. Is that because we're not looking for it and so you want the pace? Because Mullen, I thought you'd want because of his bulldog mentality, right? Him defensively as Palmer goes off and walks around the edge instead of running towards the end. So Palmer's off, Fletcher's on, and Burton Albion now searching. Sraha searching for a goal, and Orsi, their leading goal scorer, still not on the pitch.
See you later.
Vamos, muchachos. That's a great goal. We'll take it. Oh God, David. Everywhere we go, watching British weather, putting on a show. Brilliant. Brilliant. If they had like a comedy hour somewhere in Wrexham and they were just doing like football related puns and jokes, David Wood needs to sign up and win himself the grand prize. The Mizgwin. Why am I struggling with that today?
Yeah. David Foster had a slew of them too. We could just go up as a group. The Red Horde could go on
the stage. Red Horde and just everybody take turns?
Yeah.
It would either be glorious or an epic fail, but we'd be united together anyways. Whoa, through the legs of two players, and it's there. Oh, boy, that was dangerous. And here's another attempt into the box. That was a little bit unnecessarily nervy. Is that like nutmegged unintentionally two players that ended up on a Burton Albion boot? Sraha all the way over. Brum gets it back, and Tobias takes his shot at W&G. W&G's got to have the thickest skin ever, because all he's doing is reporting the scores, but he gets like this polarizing response to him. So, like, we either love you or we hate you because of your reporting. Hey, I'm not the news. I just tell you the news. We love you, W&G. Don't look now. Tied with Wickham for points. Fletcher, nice little way to fight that one off, but Sraha comes back defensively. And you know what? To be fair, I don't know what their other defender looks like, but Sraha has had himself a fairly decent game. I mean, a little bit of a lazy yellow there on a challenge in the first half, but I thought he's been okay for them as that one's chipped over top. And EOC comes back and heads it back, and that's all we need is just clear. Is I don't know if it's my feed, but the camera is giving me vertigo all of a sudden.
We have Ollie Rathbone's Ollie Rathbone or Ollie Palmer's dad. Which one's Howard?
I missed that comment. Is there a comment that you're referencing?
That we have a father of one of the two Ollies being a fan of the Red Horde.
If we did, I had no idea, Kim. That would be entirely news to me. And I'd love to know. Oh, God. Stephen Reed identifying that because Brum scored, it falls to me. 6.9 on the Font Mob with the goal. There you go. See, that's an interesting sub. Like, if you're going to go with an experienced striker, Orsi's got to have a knock, doesn't he? Or he's really peeved off the new coach somehow. Because if you're making a sub to bring somebody in when you need a goal in the 11th hour, and you're going to go with Ben Whitfield when you have the guy who scored half, he's been involved in half of your goals, and you're leaving him on the bench.
Ándale, arriba. Vamos, muchachos.
We were aided by the support of the fans, yes. Hat magic.
We have a lot of Looney Tunes fans on. It's showing their
we are showing our age.
The extent of this Spanish knowledge thanks to the Looney Tunes cartoons.
And the fact that it comes from Looney Tunes, there's going to be like, if there are any young kids, and we've got one at least watching, they're going to be like, what are all these weird references? What are the Looney Tunes? Punt it out, simple, clear, get it out. Oh, that was a flop. Oh, no! Exclamation mark flop. Fletcher standing there, and the guy did the whole shot by a sniper dive to get the free kick on this one. Chris, I'm on with you. I'm surprised how well Wrexham is doing this season. They may just promote without the playoffs if this keeps going like this. Yes, and that's bonkers. I was hoping we'd be sniffing around the playoffs. I had us pegged for like the 10 to 12 spot, but I was hoping that we'd be closer. I didn't expect to be sitting there talking that we'd be, even though Brum has games in hand, ahead of Birmingham and tied for top of the table at any point. It's crazy, but I'll take it. Brum aren't dominating that game either. And maybe it's just time to accept that Birmingham's still got a challenge ahead.
You said you were going to watch it, and obviously you didn't. If you watched Birmingham Stockport, you'd be worried.
Yeah, they did. I watched it at work. I didn't do the watch along. I watched it at work. They were clinical. The Alfie May goals, and they were in control of that whole game.
Was just ridiculous.
Their midfield is, as much as they've got Alfie May and that other guy, whatever his name is.
Stansfield.
Well, I know his name. I don't give two.
Is the other guy Korean, South Korean?
Peck, yeah, he's a national team player.
He's excellent.
Tomoki and Peck. I think actually the Japanese guy that they got out of Scotland is even better than him. But they're just next level. They're just those midfielders. But you say that, and they still find ways to drop points. So
I definitely
Birmingham took that easy. Two first half goals by Alfie May early on, and they just put it on cruise control, and they were clinical the whole time. Stockport never. They had one opportunity on a Houghton chance. Well, two chances. He had a crack, and then the rebound came to him, and he had another crack. And other than that, they had. There's no threat.
Defense doesn't impress me for Birmingham, but
that's true. Their midfield is just
forwards
insane,
exceptional,
insane. And Kyle, I'm over on the West Coast, the Lower Mainland. I work downtown Vancouver. I live out in the suburbs.
Dad, kind of fix it.
Okay, I'm on TV, bud. I can't fix it. You can show me. There you go.
Hi.
Okay, thank you. Close door, please.
Okay.
Right-footed in swinger, Burton Albion, danger as it rolls over harmlessly. I love that one. My poor wife, she's hurting children and cats. Deandra! My wife's hurting both children and cats, and she just looked over at me like this is death. But she's wearing a Wrexham top, so I support. I'm a fan of my wife, obviously, and I'm even more of a fan that she's becoming a fan of Wrexham AFC as we go through this. The East Kootenays.
We're warning you ahead of time. It's all puns all the time today. Been a crazy stream so far.
Kyle, my family roots are in Nelson. That's where my dad was born. That's where my great grandpa set up shop. Nelson and north of. So I was just saying to my wife, we need to get out there. There's a cross attempt, able to get in there, but EOC neatly takes care of that. And Matty James boldly plays it back. And Chomp says, let's just clear this. But he mishit the kick. When does that ever happen? But saved by the midfield, and it's up to Fletcher, who's, that last little touch by Fletcher to get away. Even does a little jump there as he like chest touch around the guy, and then did all the hard work. And the very next, the easy touch, the one that where he just had to touch it forward to run onto, and he gets too heavy with it and gets away from him. The dad jokes are taking the chat by storm. Is this going to be the new theme? We show up for the Red Horde and we just dump dad jokes into the chat the whole game. Inside the 18-yard box, Bennett spinning, turning on Brunt, and then knocked out, and it's going to go for a corner, and that gets a roar from the Brewers fans. Oh, is there an election in Aruba today, Deandra?
Yesterday, yeah.
Well done for being involved in that. Steven, don't do that. Right-footed outswinger into the area, headed away. EOC taking care of that easily. It's knocked down and it's going to go thumped back in. No, left-footed. Andy Cannon knocks it out, and Rathbone runs it away. Elliot Lee scored the goal on an Olympico. It didn't go in clean. It hit the woodwork and went in. I thought originally that it hit a backside. It may still have. It's a little bit hard to get, but I'm 95% confident that it just went woodwork and in.
Oh, Mullen coming in.
We see Burton Albion doing a thing. I am still absolutely gobsmacked by the manager, Housnell, leaving Orsi on the bench. You're looking for a goal, and he goes with Whitfield. Let's bring up the FBRF stats for Burton Albion. Barnett trying to get there, but Sraha able to beat him out to it. 78th minute, 12 plus extra time left. And so if I look for Whitfield, midfielder, and they brought him in, I just don't get it. So Mullen coming in. That's going to be for Elliot Lee. And then Tom O'Connor coming on, which is going to be not for a defender, I imagine. That's going to be in the midfield role. Matty James, is he standing there just taking notes, or is he coming off? That just may be consequent. Oh, Mullen in for Cannon. and Lee for O'Connor, so it doesn't really matter. The effect of that swap, even name for name, is still the same. It's going to be Mullen stepping up and O'Connor into the midfield. I assume O'Connor's going to be on the left-hand side and Rathbone moving to the right. Yep, that's how they line up. And here he is, Orsi. It took 11 minutes left and you bring in your top goal scorer. Look, I'm not a football manager by any stretch of the imagination, but somebody explain to me how that makes sense to anybody. Not to be long-winded, but need a blusterous attack to create a second goal. That would sure be helpful. Was that voting for you for man of the match? No, that's Brunt. Brunt, EOC. I mean, I guess you could call Elliott Lee, Clueworth. Like, you look at the back line, Brunt 8.1, EOC 7.8, Clueworth 7.6. Clueworth up to O'Connor up to Mullen holding it up, turning, spinning, has time, finds Barney over the right-hand side, running forward. The slow jog, Barney holds it up for a second, spins on the ball, and then gets stripped of it before Rathbone comes in like a madman, and we're going to earns himself a free kick. And Kalinauskas is like, what? I didn't do anything. And I'm not saying that you intended to, but you stuck the leg out there and you took on the player who got to the ball first. Oh, you clearly got him up in the shins too. There you go. Happy birthday, Dave. It's exciting whenever somebody celebrates a 29th birthday. O'Connor, up. Oh, yeah, oh, dangerous. Up, floating, going in. Almost got blown into the corner there. Ooh, Barnsley picking up a red card. Barnsley, red card. Adam Phillips picked that up, and they got their goal. We were talking about Pek Sun Ho earlier, the midfielder. He's got credited for the own goal. So that one a 1-1 on an own goal by Birmingham. Rathbone there. Is he going to go for the Olympico? We could push this one away from goal 2 and let everybody run into it. Man of the match is the wind with almost 2 goals. Pushing, shoving, let the clock tick. Sure, get into your scramble mode, guys. Here it comes, right-footed, near post. No, but all the black jerseys sitting static over by the goal line. Must have thought it was coming closer, and the yellow Burton Albion jerseys just come out and knock it forward. And Barnett tripped. He originally didn't give that. Fascinating. I was like, he's clearly tripped Kalinauskas, but nothing given. They play it quickly. Orsi gets it back underway, slides it over to Chalk, moves it over far left side, knocked down, too much weight on it. It's going to be a turnover. Kalinauskas couldn't control it. An easy turnover. David, I celebrated my 29th birthday for the last 19 years now. Thomas is looking forward to his 29th birthday next August. And then Denise with the summary of that attempt by O'Connor on net. Sraha, nice little move to get around Rathbone, moves it forward, middle of the pitch. Orsi, not the best control there, sends back a dangerous pass, and they have to scramble to pick that one up as Sweeney just recycles all the way back to Crocombe. Everybody giving their age. O'Connor, sky ball. Leaving it for Sweeney. Fletcher running onto it, headed back to Crocombe, and puts his gloves to it and moves it forward. Van Kooten, not Van Houten. We'll just call him Coffee. There's a foul on Cleworth. Bennett getting him in the legs, and we'll get a free kick going the other way. 84 minutes coming up. 1-0 Wrexham over Burton Albion on a day where you look around the scores now. Wickham's still even. Birmingham's still even. Huddersfield's scored to go up 2-1, and Stockport has found one against Exeter City. I've heard that 64 is the new 29. Which sucks because that means you're not retiring. You're still working. Well done by Cleworth, banging it off of Bennett, and we're just going to get a free kick over, or a free kick, throw in over on the right-hand side. Burton Albion came into this one sitting 23rd, and because Cambridge is suddenly playing much better, finding another win right now, points in 4 out of 5. Them starting to eke closer to Crawley and getting free in the 20th spot. Burton and Shrewsbury comfortably nestling in at the bottom of the table. So Burton only up on Shrewsbury because of goal differential, sitting there 23rd and 24th. Bowden coming in as a sub. Is that another forward and they're looking for a goal? Midfielder anyway. They didn't have any other strikers on the bench. And so he comes in for Watt. So Watt midfield for midfield. So that's like for like. My analytics say I don't have a lot of people who are 29 and younger who joined the watch-alongs. We are an older crew. Barney gets it to Rathbone. Rathbone slides it down to Barney. Barney with an opportunity, 9 yards out. Cross, far post. Revan scrambling, can't get there. O'Connor tried to head it down to himself, but he couldn't get there, and somebody got cleared out. And we're going to get a free kick there as Malife gets up and he's running forward, and it's going to be Crocombe getting it back underway. 86 minute coming up. No, because I think you've got to have a winger somewhere, right? In case somebody goes down with injury. Who else would you put as the winger if not him? Because you can't go with James McLean, so we don't have Ford signed. I don't know if O'Connor is the best option there, but Sev dancing. He's been solid today. Chipped far post. Fletcher just got up a little too early. Rathbone gets it up in the air. It's going to bounce once. Rathbone and Barney's there to collect the mud. Right-footed cross. Knocked down. Fletcher knocks it down. Chip. Get it across. And scramble. Revan. Deflected, goes wide, and it's going to be a corner over to the far side. Fletcher's just dangerous. Yeah. Only to me. And that's the best part about his touches is nobody else had an opportunity until somebody stabbed it away and it got to Revan. I don't want to. It's been more than it was 153 before the other, so it's got to be 153 plus 90 plus 87. Somebody wants to do the math, and I think that's right. The Grateful Horde? Oh, the Gray Horde. I always thought it was a play on the Grateful Dead. Right-footed, near post, headed away, but it's going to go right to Barney. Pulled it in. Fletcher! Oh! Great touch. Left foot. Couldn't get through, and we're up, and we're still searching. James gets it forward. Mullen! Oh, no! Oh, Mullen, that was your chance to get off the schneid. Handball, going to be a free kick from this other side. Man alive, that save in desperation from Crocombe. It's on the feet of Mullen. He's 6 yards away from the box, and he puts it. That should be 2-0, yeah. Just ends up throwing the body out horizontal and hoping that it hits him. Cross the fingers, pucker the button, hope. And it worked. Barnsley, you had one job. Birmingham goes up 2-1. O'Connor left, ripped in, goes out. And off of us, and so it's going to be a goal kick with 1.5 minutes left until we find out how much extra time we have. The White Horde, the Gray Horde. Oh, I want to watch this again. Barney stabs it over Fletcher. That's the left-footed volley that could have got in. Fletcher's got his hand on his head. Oh, Matty James gets it over to Mullen, and he's onside, right-footed. That was just desperate. Rathbone took a push there, doesn't get a call for it, and Matty James knocks it down, gets it out to Revan. We're clearly not parking the bus here. Revan, I hit that one on an attempt to try to get it to O'Connor. Vince is all for it. Let's get another. I like the not settling. Goal differential is still a thing, right? We've done gray, we've done white, and Mike Farrow says silver just has too much class. Oh, man. There's been so much brilliance in the chat. You guys better be hitting the like button. Just if nothing more for the comments that have been going on today, as that one goes out and we'll get a throw in here. 90th minute coming up. We'll find out how much added time we have. 3 minutes? 4. All right. Mullen will come through. Got to stand by him. Hey, I'm all for it. That was an opportunity that he'll go home and he'll be thinking about that one until we have Crawley on the next week. And I don't know if he's going to be playing in that one for the full time. Is Mullen chasing this one to try and can't get there before Crocombe does, and it's going to be a goal kick coming the other way. Did they say 6,374 was the attendance? Because that would make it a sellout. O'Connor just punches it back with the header to the far corner and forces Burton Albion to come the whole 90 yards again. Crocombe with it. He's searching. Sraha knocks it down left-hand side. Rathbone able to get a leg to it. It goes up in the air. Scramble. Rathbone goes back. Free kick given. James is saying, I didn't do anything. Flop. Flop. And yes, that's the plan. Well, I hope Deandra is. I guess I haven't guaranteed. I've gotten so used to having Deandra there, and she's amazing, by the way. If you haven't been to it, it's lots of fun on the women's streams. Deandra and Brendan there tomorrow. Barrytown. It's a Welsh Cup. It's a Welsh Cup game. It's the cup match, isn't it? High backspin, far post, dangerous, punched out. Well done by Chomp to go and ask that. Yeah, they get Barrytown back to back. Deandra to be even less coherent. It's interesting. The Wrexham's channel says it's in 7. Oh, in the area, Sraha. That's going to go for a corner as it bounced off of Cleworth, but that was dangerous. Kind of out of nowhere, and it lands there as Stockport goes up 2-0 on Exeter. So everybody else getting points. She's going to be sitting there going 1, 1, 1, 2, counting out candidates' names repeatedly. Hopefully it's only because, Deandra, you're going 1 Wrexham, 2 Wrexham. Far post danger! Ooh, flicked pass and punched clear, and TOC able to get it. Now we've got a break on Revan. Barney up to Revan. Give it to the fast guy. Let him chase onto it, and Crocombe comes out and steals it. And that was an epic flop. I'd like to get that on a slow motion replay. We're headed in the wrong direction. Cleworth saves it. Why are we playing with fire? Why are we playing with fire? So if is it's not showing up on the fixtures on wrexhamafc.co.uk. But I thought that they had Welsh Cup tomorrow. Oh, it might be Adran Trophy, not Welsh Cup. I forget. I just want to distract myself until they blow this one down. I'm trying to distract myself. Headed away. Burton with it. Whistle blows. 3 points, and those are big in a scrambly, ugly away game. Wrexham was able to find a way on an Olympico from Elliot Lee. And it was an ugly, 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 ugly game. The wind. Blustery, challenging, difficult as the Rusty Horde. The White Horde, the Gray Horde. The Rusty Horde ended up pulling this one. Scrappy at the end. Chances were there. We still got 3 points, and we'll go through what that means. And I've got Barrytown United, Wrexham AFC on the Adran Trophy with a live report coming soon, starting at Jenner Park Stadium tomorrow at 6 a.m. Now, I don't see it on iFollow, which makes me wonder if it's on Score. It's not. It's not on iFollow, so they're either going to pick that up and they just haven't got to it, or it could be. Be hard to do a watch along without that one running. But we'll keep an eye on that one. Let's go through the stats. We'll see what we can find as we go through things. And see you later. Next time, Dale. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. If you're watching on Twitch and you're watching over on X, as we do go through the post-game stuff here really quickly, I've got to head out to a Christmas party with the young lads later on today, or later on this morning, I guess, for me over here on the West Coast. But yeah, subscribe button, like button, the join button's always there. Special thanks and appreciation to everybody and to our sponsor, Ultimate Promotions, ultipromo.com, ultimatepromotions.biz. If you're looking for pins and badges, free shipping, free artwork, 48 years of experience, lots of work that they've done. Check it out if you're looking for pins for pin trading, for your club, for whatever your needs are, employment or otherwise. If you're looking for those medals, that you look for those competition type challenge things or tournaments and you want unique stuff, they'll do it for you. Reach out to them, ultipromo.com, ultimatepromotions.biz. And that's Sam Katzam with the summary. 3 points. Put it on the board, and massive, because we were looking at the half and through most of the second half thinking this is a game that if we get 3 points, we might be able to make some hay. As it turns out, everybody below us, like immediately below us, finding points. So Birmingham grabs 3 points, so two games in hand. Well, I mean, they're still going, 89th minute. So there's still time for Barnsley yet. But what that does is it pumps Barnsley down to 27th. But it keeps Birmingham just 1 point behind us with 2 games in hand. Huddersfield able to get 3 points, so they're in line for it with a 2-1 lead over Mansfield 2 minutes into added time at the moment. And so they're looking to stay at 35 points, which is 5 points back with 1 game in hand. Stockport trying to scratch and crawl after dropping 2 losses in the last 5. They're up 2-0 on Exeter, which sort of ejects Exeter all the way down to 11th spot and 24 points. I think where they were, they've gone draw, loss, draw, loss in their last 5, and they've fallen from near the top to 11th, which is troublesome for them. And that we were aided by Lincoln City, Charlton, both drawing each other and dropping points today. Lincoln City sitting in 9th, Charlton now in 12th. And so that divide going down to the 7th, 8th spot is getting, and I'd even be bold enough to say with Barnsley dropping and going down to 27th, having played 19 games, they're a whole 13 points away from the autos. There's a stark divide that's happening here. Is that their next game is against Exeter? Yeah, so it's a good time to be having these games, especially when we're able to take the 3 points, as there are, not everybody dropped points, but teams did. And it makes certainly the playoffs are becoming more and more likely a realizable goal. Because, that was just woodwork it in. Seb was over there on the far post. I don't think he would have had an opportunity to get to it. We're watching the Elliott Lee goal, back post, off the post, in, and limbs in the away crowd right in front of the Wrexham fans. Celebrate, embrace, enjoy that. Man, that's just a good look. Just a sexy look. Travis Herb, our 1-0 wins have been off of ridiculous goals, own goals, and wind assisted. Hey, we'll take it. And we haven't allowed a goal. Don't have the added time here, but you go back and not in league competition since Charlton. Is that right? 1-0 against Mansfield, 1-0 against Wrexham, 3-0 against Exeter, 1-0 against Lincoln, 1-0 against Barnsley, 1-0 against Burton. That's 6 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 games, and Charlton scored in the right at the depth. That penalty that was given, 97th minute. And there's truth to this one. Before we look at the table, just to conclude it, should we take a look at the stats on this one? I'm curious as to what our passing and possession was. So we gave up some 55% to 45%. So still, I think, a season high at 55%. 15 total shots, 4 shots on target. Big difference between first half, second half. Once we started to get aided by the wind, 11 shots, 4 on target, 2 big chances, all in the second half. What changed is our accurate passes, because we were 99 passes in our second half, where we had 186 in the first half for a total of 285. So pretty much spot on with our season average. It just went through a unique way of getting there. 8 corners to 4. And you start to look at the stats that matter. I mean, you go shots, it's all red, all us. Expected goals, it's all red, all us. Expected goals, we made it to 1. So we scored just as what the stats would have allowed. So sure, I will take that. Yep. Absolutely. And I guess we didn't do a man of the match. Brunt, EOC, and Cleworth. Are we just going through the back line and throw Lee in? Yeah. So I maybe might split the vote on that one, I guess. But I'm just going to put the defenders up there, because Elliott Lee, remember, he was at 5.5 until he scored the goal. And so I'm going to leave him off, and I'm just going to say man of the match, Brunt, Cleworth. Because I'm not. A big sigh of relief. Yeah, a lot of hot air expelling from the lungs, as we'll take that one on. Jumping to the table is just, I'm curious to see as the results sort of come in on this one. We're still playing in Barnsley. They're in the 5th minute of added time, and I think that might be the last one going. It is. Looking for Barnsley to pull a Charlton in our favor. I mean, let's start at the bottom just for fun. Shrewsbury, Burton still there. Cambridge United, they've got points in 5 of their last 6. So there's no joke there. They're starting to find a little way of eking out points. I mean, they've got the challenge of coming into the racecourse to do it. But they're a better squad than they were early in the season. Northampton at 18 points, Crawley at 19. And it still belies logic to me that Rotherham, who postponed today in their game against Blackpool, sitting in. They have a game at hand, but only 2 points saved. They were my pick. They were my pick for second place. What do I know about football? Clearly nothing. Clearly nothing. Anyway, Wigan Athletic, Bristol Rovers, Leighton, Peterborough. How did they do today? Have their game get off? Why didn't they have December 7th? Did they have an early cancellation and already removed the game? I don't know who Peterborough was supposed to play, but anyway, I don't see a score reported for them because they're struggling. But you start to look at, like, to me, you get to that Exeter City down, maybe even Mansfield Town, and it's going to be a challenge for someone who's been 7 games away from the end of the season. We're getting closer and closer to the halfway point. And if you're sitting, making up 16 points is not easy. Not easy. Audio jacked. Fix the mic.
I made a mistake. My son had come in, so I muted to talk to him, and then he hopped on playing video games, and I think he's destroying my feed.
Your OBS. I'll take that as the option, being heavily medicated. You'll have to let me know if I'm back, because I don't want to go through the rest of the table until we do that and wind it up. Robot Brendan, Robot Sean. Do we have to sign? Audio fixed itself. Yeah, it sounds like it was just that little blip that happened. We're going to have those issues. So I was just saying, where would you end up saying is the cutoff where those teams are going to have to go into like a Charlton-like run from last year where they win almost out to make it? Because 16 points to make up when everybody's still going to be getting points ahead of them.
I agree. That's a long way to go. Anything over 15 is going to be some work.
Well, I mean, I guess what you could do is you could just simply take the points per game and compare that to the 2.2 that you need, and find out what ratio they need. You're starting to look at the situation where for those people to make it into the autos, especially, they're going to have to go on some heavy kind of runs just because the math is there's going to be teams getting points around them. So,
well, I mean, it's not even conceivable to get there if everyone maintains their clips. So you're going to need help too.
Well, no, you go on a Doncaster-like run. When did Doncaster start their run? It was February, and they were sitting down in like 20th place or something silly, 18th place, and then they went on their run and they snuck into the playoffs. But they literally won every game going down the stretch. And so
but there's 4 positions there, so that there's
that certainly adds it. They had to get to 7th. I think they made it to 6th actually. To be fair,
and there were only 3 teams that were kind of out ahead of everybody in League 2. Whereas here, you're looking at Wickham, Wrexham, Birmingham, and you could easily say Huddersfield, and Stockport was there if it wasn't just for the last couple of games. So, yeah, I mean, they're not that far off.
And if you're Stockport, you got to be feeling still fairly good about yourself, right? Like you only looked out, like they looked out of their depth against Birmingham.
Yeah,
but I guess that's not. But you look at their record. They got blown out by Wickham, out of their depth with Birmingham. But for them, if you're a Stockport fan, you're saying, hey, we thumped the crap out of Bolton, who's just below us at 5-0. We beat Wrexham, who's sitting in 2nd/3, depending on whether you do points or points per game.
Yeah, but that was at Stockport. They got to face all of us again, and they have to face Wrexham in Wrexham's, which they don't win at. So, yeah,
the last their games winding the last 4 that they've got Stevenage away, Peterborough at home, Huddersfield on the road, and then Rotherham on the road before they flip the switch and start the new season with Birmingham coming to their place at home. So, things, I think you could find reasons to be relatively happy in Stockport. I mean, aside from the fact that you live in Manchester. I'm going to keep going with that until somebody flags me for it. 2.1 is the point ratio now, so 96.6 points. And so do the math on that one. Let's just bring this up. I need a calculator to be able to do this. So if let's just call it, let's say you're Peterborough and you're sitting at 21 points and you've got to get to 96. So you take your 46 and you subtract them by the 17 that you've played. That's 29 games left. You multiply that by 3. That's 87 points that are left. And you add that to the 21. That's 108. 108 minus 96. They can only drop 12 points for the rest of the season for Peterborough to make it into the the automatic promotion spot if on pace.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not happening.
And so you sure as hell wouldn't expect that to be the outcome. Deandra, isn't that fascinating? Because we went and signed Brad Foster. If you look at the starting lineup, it had Foster as a in the subs list, and I went, what? And I had a moment this morning where I was like, must have loaded up the wrong graphic. And I was like, why is just Foster's name here by itself? An hour before that, they had signed Brad Foster of Burton Albion. He kind of looks a lot like Ben, to be fair. Brunette, beard, height, West Brom, all the things are there. And so he was the signing that was sat on the bench, and FOTMob just got it wrong. And instead of putting Brad Foster in, subbed in Ben Foster on FOTMob.
I almost queued up Brent Foster's save against Notts County. I had it. I created one, and I didn't put a command in for it, but I was going to do that as kind of inspirational on great saves to do Foster's save. And now we got a Brad Foster, so I definitely going to queue that one up.
Yeah. Easy to come up with a song for Brad Foster, I guess, right?
Yeah.
No. We'll see if he actually ends up playing. The only concerning part for me about that, and tell me if I'm wrong here and I'm just overthinking it, is if you've got Ogonkwo, who last I heard was 2 weeks away, maybe 3, and you've got Howard there and you've got Liam Hall in the background. I mean, I get that you don't want to wait forever, but you've signed him and you've put him in your 22-man squad because he's over the age of 22. I guess the question is twofold. If you're Liam Hall, we kind of went through this. How do you feel about it? But are we concerned that Ogonkwo and or Burton are anticipated to be out longer than we've heard?
Well, I mean, what would you say if your thigh there? I didn't hear exactly what the injury was, but if you do a tear there, what are you looking at?
Well, they sent him for a scan. And that's all that the last I heard was they sent Burton for a scan, and it's either going to be nothing significant or significant depending on the outcome of the scan. And so, is that the concern?
Yeah.
That looked like a problem, and Burton's probably going to be out for an extended period. So Ogonkwo might be back in a couple of weeks, but we need to have somebody else other than Howard,
yes,
in goal. So it's going to. And that's kind of what it says to me.
Yes, it does.
Twitter said Burton will be out for an extended period of time from Deandra. So I guess that's what it has to be. But you had the same WTF that I had there, Deandra. Is because I woke up and I was like, "This is what? This can't be it." So it is what it is.
Fair call by Travis. We always give the refs a hard time. That wasn't that bad today. That was pretty good.
Yeah, and that's a fair comment and a good shout. I did say that we were going to talk at the half about Dalby coming back, and there's two things that intrigue me about that is you take a look at it, and Sam Dalby is tied for second with about like 14 other players for second overall leading scorer in the league. The leader has 6, and there's like 14 players that are around 5. That's prior to the games today. I don't know what happened today. Interesting for 2 reasons. I'm still not very high on Dalby. And where we are in League One, looking to move up to the championship and looking to find improved strikers that we're spending, 5, somebody suggested 10 million quid on. Bringing Sam Dalby back, not the option unless we're desperate. Let him sit up there and let him cook. And maybe we get some money off of him because he's performing, and they just say, you know what, we'd like to pay to bring him out of the contract and have him playing up here. Possible, right?
I absolutely agree with you. Dalby is not of the speed needed to play that position in the championship.
And so, Kim, when people ask me, is he coming back? I'm with Kim. It's just not coming. But what more interesting to me is apparently Josh of the local pundit, ran into Hugh at the Cosm thing. And I'm not sending this out like Josh told me a secret. He and I were talking on the local pundit. I joined a midweek sort of show just for 20, 30 minutes. And I was in the chat, and he said that Hugh had told him that they're looking specifically at Scottish Premiership strikers and in the ballparkish range of 2.5 million quid. So I immediately went, well, who's this? Because it's got to be somebody better than Dalby, is what he just identified. Dalby a no-go, no transfer fee to us. And so I looked at the stats and thought, who's in the vintage, the right age gap that checks all the boxes at scoring goals in the Scottish Premiership? And I was like, it's only Sam Dalby. There's nobody else that I really want, and I don't want Sam Dalby back. So who are they looking at? So I'm curious to see how that one goes. And we say that, Kyle, I mean, he's doing something up there, but it's just, I think we've been disappointed for such an extended period of time that nobody's really that excited in the thought of even having him come back. And looking at his performance compared to others in the Scottish Premiership, and I'm going, how do we justify spending a gob of money to bring somebody in? So I don't know. I'm scratching my head on that one. We'll see what ends up happening here.
I would say this: when I heard you say that, we were disappointed in him for so long, I was no more disappointed in Dalby than I was Palmer. For the same stretch, they were
both struggling.
Yeah, they were both struggling, and no one wants Palmer at his age, and we were paying him a ton more. So yeah. Dalby didn't leave because I don't know, right, what Parkey had for worst on the depth chart, but I would have just as soon it incorrectly said, Palmer, see you later, you're older. Maybe Dalby, if he got more time, would develop. So I would chose to hold on to Dalby, not Palmer, if you had to make a call. But they were like, wait a minute, we've invested in Palmer. Let's just stick with it. Maybe they'll get that Palmer Mullen magic back. And they said, besides which, someone would be interested in sending off Dalby. We could send him off and still pull him back if we wanted to, right? So that's the route they went. I'm not saying that was a bad decision at all. I'm just saying, maybe you could have gone another way. So I don't know that he was so bad that we were just like, yeah, you're done. I just think it was, he wasn't playing great when he got in.
And on our depth chart, he just didn't find a place, right?
Yeah.
And it's that depth chart that makes me think like we need two strikers. And I say that like long term, as I say it like this. If you look at our right sider with our big bodies, you've got Palmer who's leading the charge, you've got Fletcher's coming in for minutes, and you've got Mo Fall as the heir apparent who's figuring it out, and he's going to get his chance against Crawley to do what he needs to do. And on the left side, you've got Mullen and Marriott, and when you don't have one of them, you've got Lee filling in the gaps. We are more desperate for somebody on that Mullen Marriott side, because Mullen, love him, had an opportunity here to get off the schneid a bit, didn't. Marriott, yes, he can come back as Charles identified, but we need somebody else on that left-hand side. But who does that leave on the right? It's still Palmer, Fletcher, who aren't going to be around for much longer, and then Mo Fall, who isn't quite ready. I think we need two strikers, and I think we need to spend gobs of cash for it. I'm less concerned about the midfield immediately. I'm less concerned about the back line immediately. I'm not concerned in goal immediately. And so that's what the January window is go and get one for either side up front, and away we go.
Do you think we have a midfielder that compares to the Birmingham midfield?
No.
Okay. No. So just think about that then. If we go up with Birmingham, a club that we're going up with has 3 to 4 midfielders better than everything we have. So I don't necessarily agree with we only need a striker. I think say a attacking midfielder, of the Stansfield, Alfie May, whatever level quality that is, would be needed.
I think it comes to the question for me of if and when we make the championship, and let's say that we do it this year or next, and that's part of that momentum push where everything is looking rosy, and you want to, when you've got momentum on your side and you're not stuck in the weeds, slugging it out in the middle of the table season after season, or just holding on trying to get relegation. You've got a buzz around you with respect to signings, and you've got just that sort of aura, that subconscious we can do it mentality. Do you keep that going and you say, well, let's open up the bank so that we can get through the championship because we need to ride momentum? Or do you just say, and there are those that said that this was the year that we do it, it's just about consolidation. And if we get to the championship, we're comfortable just making sure that we're there. I think that our midfield is good enough with some improvements up front and a little bit more experience of being a team that is able to consolidate within the championship. The question is if that's all we do we lose some of that mojo? And if that matters for you, then I think, yes, you need to, like you just identified, go and get a midfielder. Bo, I am saying we need to get a midfielder. And so I get the argument both ways. For me, I think it's going to be a sign as to what the true intention of the owners are, because you're going to be eating $11 million on average losses, 11 million quid in losses in the championship. And you have to spend to gamble to get out. And as much as they're talking about bringing in a football regulator right now, that is how it works. Is you gamble, you buy your lottery ticket, and you spend 11 million quid every year to hold your lottery ticket to try and get up into the Prem. We have to upgrade our midfield to championship levels. I don't think we're that far off, though. And I think
I think our midfield
consolidating with it. I just don't think we're gonna be anywhere close to moving up into the Prem until we build it. So do you do that next year, or do you do that in this window? I think that's or in the summer window. That's for the ownership to decide. For me, I think that's a summertime decision. I think that we need the strikers now, and you go and you get them, and you build with the expectation that's what you're going to need to do. And then I think if you end up being promoted, our attention then turns to, is Max going to be good enough in the championship? I think so, yes. Is Brunt, he's proven to be, yes. EOC, Scar, can they handle it? Yeah. Are they going to be the best? No, but they're certainly capable.
Well,
I think the midfield, we need to go and grab a couple of people to push up there. And we'll see if I'm right, if we're not. And there's Dave. Yep, the two big strikers I see championship level play at every position except striker at the moment.
But the defense, right, if you have right now the best defense in League One, and you continue on that track, and you're thinking you've got championship level quality at, Cleworth and Brunt, and probably, Scar with O'Connell as his backup. You've got, if you had a healthy Brunt as a backup to Okonkwo, you're okay, we're not in desperate need to upgrade there at all, right? And as far as I'm concerned, Barney is not a must have to upgrade. For me, Barney can probably do a decent job in the championship. So now you're looking at everywhere else is questionable. Now, if you were to tell me the midfield's fine as far as defensively speaking, I'd be like, okay, maybe we hold up lower third of championship defensively in the midfield. But offensively, we would be the worst, I would expect.
There's Dave. If only we had somebody like Matty James or Ollie Rathbone or George Dobson at midfield. Oh, wait. Hey, I get it. Capable. But Dobson's been at Charlton. League One predominantly. Ollie Rathbone, capable. Matty James is starting to get up. I mean, he's had the experience, but he's getting up there in age. I think what you're looking for more in the midfield is sort of like the Mo Fall heir apparent types.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm okay with that midfield if you put a legitimate, offensive-minded midfielder, because we get no service from our midfield pretty much, right? It all comes from crosses from Barnett. And I just don't think that's going to get it done in the championship league. We'll be scoring next to nothing unless we get someone who's crafty, bringing it forward and getting it to the forwards. So I don't know. You guys can obviously call me out like Dave is that I'm wrong here, but I love the midfielders. I think they can hang there. I just don't think they're going to get us any opportunities. And
I don't know if it's my mic or my headset or your mic, but it's the volume for you has got quieter than it has for the whole time. I did hear all of that, and I agree with you. As an offensive-minded midfielder, especially one young in age, is certainly available as an option. I think that summer window, but we'll see what happens. Dave highlighting inappropriate. I was actually just looking at the stats. There is one team that has allowed 3 times the goals that we have this year. 11 goals and by a healthy amount. The next lowest, I think, and I don't have FBRF hasn't updated, but I think it's Birmingham and Huddersfield are both at 16. So is Wigan Athletic at 16. So that's 5 goals less than everybody else in the league. So that's pretty damn impressive. 19 games in, we're on 6 games without allowing a goal. What is long may that continue. And if you would have told me that we would have lost our 2 starting goalkeepers and then somehow been only allowed 11 goals against for the season, and we've been out without our top goalkeeper for what, 4 or 5 games now?
Yeah.
And our backup now for 2 and a bit, I would have thought that's nuts. That's
Don't
crazy.
you think defense is also more reliable? Like maybe offense balls that just happen to bounce in and you're getting lucky or whatever, but the defense is solid. We're not getting earlier in the season we were getting lucky where shots should have gone in, but now we're just not giving up good shots, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I think Kyle's put a good point forward there, as he thinks in the midfield, if it has an issue, it's just going to be mainly speed, and I certainly am on board with that. And Rathbone has been the balance to Dobson, and I actually think Matty James has slid in really, really nice with his chips and his passing and his touch. You see those old guys, Matty James and Fletcher, still have that magic when the ball gets close to them. It's been pretty impressive to watch how that's held up. And I guess the same is true in hockey. Like you look at Mark Messier as he aged, and there somebody has to have a drink because I made a hockey reference. Didn't have the pace. I guess he never had the pace, but he didn't. He was certainly, his foot speed was slower. But you got the puck close to him, and he still had a rip. Alex Ovechkin right now still scoring goals despite being well up in his years, and they still have that magic in the hands. It's just the feet tend to go first. So, look, it's going to be. Is that clock ticker still going on the countdown timer for the January window? We're getting closer and closer. Look, just going to try and wrap this one up here as we go through. I'll give you a chance, Brendan, for your final thoughts here in a moment as we sign off on this one. We're going to have to find out what's happening with the game tomorrow for the women. They've got a Adran Trophy game against Barrytown in Barrie before they play Barrie next week on the 15th before the Christmas break. The women will then be off for a period of time. And so we're going to have to check to see if that one's on anywhere, because as I see it on iFollow, it's not presently there. So we'll look into that. Stay tuned. I'll have to put it up on the announcements and do a post. For the men, we've got Crew Alexandra on Tuesday in the round of 32, the first of the knockout rounds at home. That's an 11:30 a.m. kickoff time, so just a little bit earlier because it's 11:45 normally, isn't it? I thought. Yeah, so that's 15 minutes earlier for the trophy match, the Virtu Trophy. So we'll be here for that one over lunch. Join us. I'm curious to see. I'm assuming Mullen and Fall are going to get the run out all the way up time. Messier was fast when he was young. Coffey and Glenn Anderson too. Coffey was lightning quick. But yes, the Oiler fans jumping in on that one. Then we've got Cambridge United on the next weekend. We'll be here on the Saturday, and then we have to wait a whole week for another game. Bristol Rovers on the road, and then things come hot and heavy. We'll see you Boxing Day. We'll see you the 29th, and then we'll see you January 1st as we go quick through the Christmas break between some quick turnover. And then we turn the season over. And I haven't even really looked through January, but let's look at it for the first time. We've already postponed the Reading match, but we've got Barnsley, Peterborough, Shrewsbury, and then Birmingham right off the hop. And so we've got a mix of up and down as far as we go through things. If I remember correctly, it was our March that was tougher, and then we kind of get through a little bit of an ease towards the end.
Yeah, it's one of those things we're going hard month, easy month, hard month, easy month again. And what I mean by easy is easier,
Yeah.
Because we're going to have a nice finish.
You look at our March. We've got Bolton at home, Huddersfield away, Rotherham at home, Wickham away, Stockport at home, Exeter City away, and then the calendar flips over to April, and we have Cambridge United, Burton, Wigan Athletic, Bristol Rovers, Blackpool, Charlton, and Lincoln City.
Right. So if we can get through March and we're near the top, we're feeling good. We're feeling good,
yeah. And I think it's like January and February is a bit of a mixed bag, right? Because you've got Brum in there, you've got Mansfield in there. February's not that bad, but there's only 4 games, right? Yeah, Crawley, Leighton, Northampton, and Mansfield. So it's really build towards March and then survive the gauntlet, and then hopefully stick your nails into the chalkboard and hold on and not make too much noise. Top striker is Sean. Top assist by Brendan. A great combo pressing us forward. Thanks again, Dave. It's because we've got the gaffer like you guys, the comments, the guys on the bench throwing everything in that keeps the thing
Doing the
alive.
heavy lifting for the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna look to sign this off so I can help aid get the kids ready for this one. Didn't have to bust out the magic hat. Brendan, final thoughts from you?
No, did what we needed to do. I didn't think this was a banana peel, but it turned out not to be anyway. We got the 3. Let's keep going.
I don't think we can call Cambridge United when we get to them a banana peel, can we? Crew Alexandra, tough. They're 4th in League 2, or they were before the games that started today. Cambridge United, that'll still be challenging as a trophy match.
Would be interesting.
I'm starting to think Cambridge United. I mean, yes, it's at home, but they've been on a run here. Let me just bring up their last little stretch of games for Cambridge United. I mean, they thumped Shrewsbury today. They lost 3-0 to Reading. They drew Bolton, and they had a red card in that one. They drew Northampton. They drew Barnsley, and they got thumped by Peterborough. So sort of up and down. They snuck by Burton. Yeah, up and down for Cambridge United. And the real thing is you take a look at the top of the table, and I might as well do this while we're here, just because we talked about Birmingham has a lighter schedule than similar to ours. Wycombe's still got a couple of serious ones to play. Obviously, the draw with Reading today, which I like that. Reading in massive changeover. They had the purge. Things are still really. It's got to be tough to be a Reading fan. You sit there and you look at your squad and they're sniffing and they're building things forward, and all of a sudden the whole management team up and departs. Like, I'd be just gobsmacked. But for Wycombe, Shrewsbury away next weekend. Then they've got Bolton at home, Stevenage away, Charlton away, and then that's it. So not the toughest of schedules, but certainly not as light if you're looking at positions as Birmingham and Wrexham have. Because we're living at the teams that are currently presently sitting towards the bottom of the table. For Birmingham, they've got Bristol Rovers at home, Crawley Town away, Burton at home, and then Blackpool at home before turning over their half of this first half of the season. So those top 3, and then let's just do it one more for fun. The other team that are they in? Are you saying they're in it or out of it? As far as, are you calling it a top 3 chasing down those 2 auto spots, or are you holding Huddersfield in, Brendan?
From the beginning of the year, I thought Huddersfield could be dangerous. I think they'll be in the mix. I'm just wondering about Wycombe. I haven't.
They keep doing it though.
Well, I only got to see the real game that we played against them. They didn't seem bad, but I didn't see them this good. So I'm just waiting for the wheels to fall off there because I don't respect them only because I haven't really seen them. Like, I've watched multiple Birmingham games. So
yeah,
and I've seen a couple with Huddersfield. So I know they have quality. I know what Stockport has. It's Wycombe that I'm uncertain on. So my prediction is that Wycombe trails off, and then it's, and Birmingham finally rises to the top, and it's Wrexham against Huddersfield or Huddersfield, Stockport, Bolton. I think Bolton will creep back up there. I'm less concerned because I think the Bones are going to get picked on Stockport in the January window, and I think they could start to fall after that. So
I'm going to come back to the comments here just to finish off. Huddersfield, they have Lincoln City at home, Cambridge United on away, Stockport at home, and then Burton at home before they turn over their half of the season. So a couple of challenging ones there with Lincoln City and Stockport. So we'll see what happens as far as them taking this one home. Dave said, I hear the doubters, but this is a good performance for Wrexham being down Dobson and MacLean. I'd be surprised if there are doubters. Are there doubters? In a 1-0, like, that was a windy, ugly game that you were playing away and you scraped out 3 points. Why is anybody doubting? Like, it's not the perfect road game, but I don't think you could expect much more out of the team, especially as Dave identified, Dobson and MacLean. So if there are doubters, I hope you're not reading that for me. No doubt for me. I think that was as good a result. If you would have said at the start of the game, you're going to walk away from this 1-0, I would have been like, fine, great, job done. And I think that we played relatively well given the conditions. So no complaints from me. Woody says, who's in goal for Crew? I actually don't even know who's in goal for Crew. And I don't think you can choose it because the Virtu Trophy is always interesting because you don't know who's going to end up playing in it. Are teams going for the wins in the round of 32, or are they take?
Do
Sorry?
you put Brad out, or do you stick with Howard? Maybe that's what he was saying.
Oh, I think you could go with Brad. I mean, you don't want to lose Howard now. So I think or even Liam Hall. It doesn't matter to me. I think that's fair. I think we're going half 3/4 strength, right? You're still going to have Mullen and Fall up front. You're still going to have Scar. Your back line is going to be Scar, O'Connell, and Aaron James probably on the right-hand side instead of Cleworth, giving him a spell, which no step down from there. Their goalkeeper, Philip Marshall, 21-year-old. And so he's got to be a loan from somewhere. Football. And so we'll bring up his. So Aston Villa, U21 player who's over on loan and Crew getting his minutes in. So I don't know anything more than that. And I don't know whether he'll be the person that they end up seeing. Or it could be another one of their goalkeepers, which would be Tom Booth. Why does Tom Booth ring a bell? Another young goalie, but sounds like there's madness out. I got people playing with cats is the problem in there. So there we go. Not supposed to be doing that sort of stuff, and there's the punishment for it. The sidebar to this whole one. Crew Alexandra. No, he's through their academy as Tom Booth, and so I would expect that's probably who you end up seeing. Who knows what to expect on that one? We're at 19 games, so is that effective today? So have we started the clock on yellow card accumulation? And I guess that's a good thing, even though I guess nobody's really that close. The next highest was at three yellow cards. So but we've have hit 19 matches played. So reset the yellow card accumulation. It's now 10 up until I think it's the 33rd game. I'll have to double check that. We'll figure that out in a moment. Anyway, let's wrap this up. To everybody that's still here, thank you very much. Like button, join if you haven't. If you're on X or you're on Twitter and you're appreciating this as a sidebar, come over and join for the watch-alongs and do that sort of stuff. Special thanks, obviously, out to Ultimate Promotions, ultipromo.com, ultimatepromotions.biz. If you're looking for things, Brendan, much appreciated for all of the add-ons that you've been doing and the stuff in the background and everything that you do, and to W&G for the scores and everybody who's been chiming in with Dad Joke Central on a Saturday morning as we take 3 points. Thank you very much. Woody, to go back, do they play tomorrow? Yes, the women play tomorrow in the Adran Trophy. An away game against Barry Town in the quarterfinals. The question is, where is it? Because it's not listed as on iFollow. We're going to have to do some research and figure that out. And I didn't see it on S4 or Scorio or any of the YouTube channels. So we're going to do some digging and see if we can figure that out. The intention is for Deandra and Brendan to be there, but don't know if they will. Because obviously it's hard to do a watch along if you don't have it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to check. Well, let's go to League One scores and see if there's an early one next time, because there's opportunity. The one that this morning, neither of them really intrigued me. We've got Bolton, Wigan, or Leyton Orient, Burton. Is that worth waking up for?
No.
Nah, not really feeling it. The following weekend, all of the games are at. You got Lincoln City. They've got 3 Friday games, but I can't really do a Friday game because work commitments on a Friday aren't going to let me do it. But they've got, and we're a 4:30 a.m. start on the 21st. And so we could always stay later and do any of the other matches that are there. There's also Birmingham plays on the 23rd. There are lots of neutral watches if we wanted to fill them out. I'm just going to flag them and we'll figure them out. If you or anybody has an interest, put them in the comments of games that Wrexham's not playing in where you may want us to be. I'm just looking at the 11:45 games. There's Stockport Peterborough's that time. There's that's the Friday game. Never mind. There's Barnsley, Leyton Orient. There's actually a whole lot of garbage, to be fair. And I say garbage as far as not intriguing matchups. But we'll have a look at it. We'll figure out what we can and want to do as we do the push towards the new year. To everybody, much love and happiness. Enjoy the rest of your week. If I don't see you until, Tuesday, I guess. And for everybody, join the women. We'll try and figure that one out and get that out to you shortly. Enjoy your Saturday, and we'll see you next time. Take care.